Are you ready? Uno, dos, tres. Let's learn Japanese. It's never too late. Taking you from zero to fluent Japanese from zero. Let's go! You've watched anime since you were in high school. You thought about learning before everyone thought it was cool. Well, now's the time. Get off your butt and learn to speak. Before your body hurts and your bones are brittle and weak, only time can tell how good you'll get. If you don't start now, it's something you'll surely regret. So let's crack open the book and start right away. The best time to learn was last year, the second best time today. Woo! Learning Japanese for all the cute girls and boys. If you're already married, ignore all that noise. Anime is cool, Japanese food tastes great. Start learning Japanese now, it's never ever too late.
All right, enough of that. Enough of that. Let me get this mic in the right spot. How you guys doing? Welcome to the new year. First live stream. It is already January 16th. But this is going to be some office hours if you have questions about Japanese, which no one ever has anymore, apparently. There's no such thing as questions for Japanese to a human being. Just ask ChatGPT. You get all that you need. No human experience required. No, I'm not sure about that answers. Complete confidence. All right. Let's see. Where's the chat? There it is. Burnt Rolls. Welcome, Burnt Rolls. Welcome, Violet. Benjamin. Been a while. Just got your book on lesson 2, says Molly. That's awesome to hear. I love hearing that. Let me get some relaxing music up in here. We'll do some relaxing music. None of this hyper music. Let's see. Start with this, I think. Is this it? Oh, there we go. Oh, yes, very nice. You had one and you forgot it. Give me a few minutes to look back into the book. Oh, by the way, you know what happened yesterday? I finished a book. Spanish from Zero. Spanish from Zero. Final workbook in the final lesson. Done. Right now, my co-author is going through a little bit of review, and then I'll add like a table of contents and a glossary. It's going to go out to a few people. They're going to check it. Still working on the cover. Cover will get done. A month? Or a year. I don't know. I'm not sure. when it's coming, but it's done. And I bought this yesterday. I went to Barnes and Noble and I bought Jurassic Park. Now you're thinking, like, what does that have to do with anything? It's because I also bought the Spanish edition. This says en español. So I'm going to be, this is very Jurassic Parky. Dinosaurs in the sky. Dinosaurs just killed that guy. It's Jurassic Park. All right. Enough fun. So yeah, my goal is like reading this in Spanish. Although I got to tell you, the first sentence in the book has me a little bit concerned. Here we go. The late 20th century has witnessed a scientific gold rush of astonishing proportions. The headlong and furious haste to commercialize genetic engineering. What if I said that in Spanish? You think I'll get my tacos quicker over at Chipotle? No? Also, I ordered a really cool game, which I'll talk about in a second, because Molly addressing my background. Yes, this is I've been working on this. This is a thing in progress. This sign right here, done by my friend Violet. I have new lights coming for the insides to make it better. This one done by my father. I lit it up this morning, or actually 20-ish minutes ago, or maybe an hour ago. I finally put a light on it so it lights up. TV in the back with what looks like a designed LED show, but it's just a graphic in the back. And then these new lights up hang on. It's hard because everything's reversed. Here, these are new. Yeah, and I have a new camera and new lenses, so should be good. New managing moderators can support your channel in many ways. Okay, got it. Fine, thank you. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Before the question, let me see. Eduardo Estrada says, cool, you are back. Thanks to you, I passed N3. We barely teach any N3, so that's on you. Good job. Good job that you passed your N3 exam. Jesse says, what's up? I'm currently at the end of Japanese from Zero Book 2. I still have to memorize days of the month. Oof. Those are rough, I ain't gonna lie. And the counting system. Those are the toughest ones. Not the months, but the days of the week. I used to make the students stand in front of class and go tsuitachi, futsuka, mika, yoka, itsuka. And if they missed one day, even at the very end, they had to restart until they did it perfectly. MC Benjamin's question was, okay, let's pull this music off here. My question is about narimasu. In a book or on a video, it mentioned that narimasu can mean to become something by your own will, but also to become something against your will. How do you differentiate? My initial thought is don't worry about it, because narimasu just means to become. I became a pilot, or I became hungry. One, you didn't want to become hungry, or you didn't want to become sad, right? And the other is you became a pilot, right? Because naru can translate to got. Like I got hungry, and I got sad. So there's naru with a ni, right? Noun plus ni naru is to become the noun, and any e adjective can remove the e, add a ku. Samishii, sad. Samishiku narimashita, got sad. Okay. Takai, expensive. Got expensive. Takaku narimashita. Now it's not anything to do with anything. It's just stating the fact that it got that it got expensive, right? So that's how that works. Can go. It doesn't really matter if it's something you did or you're explaining the state. I don't know. I think you hear me out. I don't know what lesson you were watching. But there are two things. There's naru and suru. Now, suru is when you do it. Naru is when it happens to you. So I think you might theoretically be mixing those up. because Naru is always mostly it happened to you. But in the case of like I became a pilot, obviously you made some effort to become it. And that might have been what I was referring to. I believe that's like, let me take a guess here. Book 3, lesson 8 back in the day. And by the way, I finally got a copy of the new book 3. This is the new book 3, the current cover here, with all of the new, completely re-updated book. So I don't know if it's actually lesson 8 anymore. Let me check. Let me check if it's still lesson 8. That was like the lesson that had Hajimeru and Hajimaru in it. Let's see here. Lesson 8. Multiple actions. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. It's still there. Naru. So let's see what I write about Naru. Naru is to use when something changes in some way, it becomes something else from its current state. For nouns and na adjectives, the pattern na or noun adjective plus ni naru is used. Here's the example sentences. 私は今年25歳になります. I will turn 25 years old this year. もう冬になりました. It has already become winter. ユナさんは綺麗になりましたね. Yuna got pretty, didn't she? この町は便利になりました. This town has gotten more convenient. Book 3. Revisions right there. Let's see here. Okay. Ooh. We need your books in Portuguese. Ooh, you know they are in Spanish, but not in Portuguese. The problem with other languages is distribution. And the cost of printing is expensive. So to print them and send them to other countries where the currency is really, or the cost of living is so different, it means the books will be too expensive for the people we made them for, right? So it's kind of difficult, to be honest. If I'm being honest. Molly Dungeon says, your approach to teaching has made it very easy and fun. Love to hear that. That's right, fun. You know the funny thing about that? Every language company, every single one claims they are the most fun and easy way to learn Japanese. Everyone, including me, have said that before. I'm pretty sure I saw Migaku say it just in one of their ads on. Can we talk about the Migaku ad though? Where did I put that? Hang on, I got to show you something. This is going to be promotion for them, unfortunately, but unintentional. Give me a second. I actually took a snapshot of it because I don't know. I don't think this ad was good. I don't get what they're doing here. Hang on. Let's see. Copy. Let me open this link and drag this over here. Zoom out. All right. I want you to look at this ad. Let's see. Am I doing the right one? Is this the right one? Okay. What happens when you give a group of hardcore learners, builders, and designers $5 million? That's Migaku, a new generation of language learning company that shoots for Duo Something's throne. Lucas McCracken, CEO and co-founder of Migaku. Why do we need his picture, number one? And number two, are they just bragging they got $5 million in investment? I don't know. I thought that was it. I literally sent that to my team and I was like, what do you think, guys? Thoughts, guys? What are your thoughts, everyone? Migaku. Their other ads were good. This one was just like, plus look at the face he's making. Is it time for the picture? Migaku. You know what I do every day? I Migaku my teeth. I Migaku. All right, sorry, a little bit too intense. Oops, I shouldn't have went back to that. Oh my God. Sorry, a little bit. I shouldn't be making too much fun. I have talked with Lucas before. There was a discussion a few years back between us. Talked to him a few times, I believe. I think when when they had the problem with Matt at one point. I think it was the Matt problem. I also called him up and said, hey, man, how things going, man? I also talked to Matt during that time. I just don't get the Clint Eastwood face that he's making. You know, it's like, you looking to learn a language? I see you, punk. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting with that. All right, sorry, let me put my glasses on, look at the chat. Let me look at the chat again here. Okay, here we go. Suhi Eatery Yapper. Suhi Eater Rapper. Suhi Eater Yapper. That's probably what it is. Sensei, I'm just confused what bakkari means. I'm on book 3, lesson 5, but I just had a doubt. So I'm sorry I don't know much Japanese. Okay. Bakkari does like 7 things, okay? Matter of fact, let me show you something. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm going to find the video that I did on it and link it to you first of all. Let's see here. Bakkari. Yeah, and it's not bakkari, by the way. It's bakkari. So here's a video from 6 years ago. Hang on. Give me a second. Let me link it to you first. There's that. And then we'll look at it here. This is Japanese Grammar Bakkari from 6 years ago. Can't hear it. Oh. All right, sorry about that. All right, here we go. Probably with Japanese from Zero, and today we're going to be talking about bakkari. But before we get to that, I want to introduce my special living Japanese sound box. All right, here we go. Here's the thing. I think I'm going to show. Here we go. 5 common usages. Okay, here we go. Let's just do it. Let me see if I can do a quick version of this. Okay. You got number bakkari, noun bakkari, u bakkari, ta bakkari, and te bakkari. Okay. So, number bakkari. Can't think of what that is right now. Noun bakkari. Let's skip that for a second. Let's jump to the 2 that are the easiest for me personally to remember. Okay, because obviously when I do these videos, I do a little bit of research before. Right now, my brain, I can't think of what the other ones are doing. The u one I probably get to. Okay, here we go. Ta bakkari, which is any verb in the past tense form. For example, tabeta. Tabeta means I ate. Tabeta bakkari means I just ate. Hey, no, I just ate. Not all I did was eat, but that I just did it a few moments ago. Did you watch the new Tom Cruise movie? Kino mita bakkari desu. I just saw it yesterday. That is so powerful. That's like good. And it's always ta bakkari to say you just did something a few moments ago. Te bakkari, which sounds so similar, but is so different. Now, I know when you're learning Japanese, you're like, why are these so similar things so different? How could Japanese people even tell? Because they can. Because they know the difference between a te sound and a ta sound. They can hear it. You might not be able to hear it when you're first beginning, and that's always a struggle. But I want to give you something to think about for Japanese people before I move on to what te bakkari does. But when we say it's crowded today, Japanese can't tell the difference between it's crowded today and it's cloudy today. They can't hear it. You hear it because you grew up with English, so cloudy and crowded are 2 different things. But Japanese hear cloudy, crowded. They don't hear the difference. Same thing here. You might not hear the difference with te bakkari and ta bakkari. So ta bakkari is I just did it. Te bakkari is always doing it. Oh man, you always, George wa shabette bakkari. All George does is talk, right? Like every day, all I do is eat. もう毎日食べてばっかり. I'm constantly eating. That's what te bakkari means. Constantly doing something. Okay. Now, u bakkari, I believe it means you can only do this thing. Matsu bakkari desu. I'm like, all I can do is wait. Matsu bakkari desu. Like I have no other option. That's all. You notice that it's like an exclusionary thing, right? All I can do is this. Inu bakkari. I believe something like noun plus bakkari. And we're going to watch it. We're going to watch to make sure that I'm remembering it right. But noun bakkari means it's just, all it is these things. Mo nihonjin bakkari. It's just Japanese people. That's all there is. Japanese people. Number bakkari. No idea. My brain, I don't know. We'll see.
Time, but we are going to
Let's skip ahead.
plus
We'll look at the example
similar
sentences.
to what gurai does. The only difference is it's a little bit more stressed than gurai. All right, let's look at our first example sentence.
コンサート会場に3000人ばかりいる。
All right. コンサートば
What a bakayaro.
I don't know why ばっかり came there. コンサート会場に3000人ばっかりいる. So this means in the concert hall, there are about 3,000.
All right, so it's just about. So I never use that version. I would say gurai. Okay. So that's it. That's literally it. Those are the things that bakari does. Hopefully that helps. But also you can watch that video to get all of the examples that we give. That is free up on YouTube. That's one of the, is that one of the Hitokoto? Yeah, that's one of the Hitokoto playlist videos. And I might theoretically on FromZero.com made a video lesson for that as well. Let me just double check. If we go on FromZero.com to the courses here, I see a little bit more courses in use since I'm the admin. I think theoretically it's in here. Maybe I did Bakari in here. No, I was working on it, it looks like. I don't think I finished it. There's the lesson. Let's see. Not sure. So this might be, let me change my, from progressive to kana. This one might be. I'm not sure. Let's see. This is one that's not, I don't know if this is public yet. No, this is, this was the one on promises. Okay. So this is, I did some sort of like, copy and paste of this one thing. Cause only up until here. Yeah. I copied the Yakusoku one. That's what I did. But a lot of times this will have, these are like little lessons based on the video lessons that we have. So you'll watch what you'll do is you'll watch the video, then you go to the next part of the lesson and it has the phrase.
相変わらず
And then you listen to the question and answer that can be with that sort of a thing. And then there's going to be some grammar explanations, most likely a little bit more. And then I think there's a quiz. I think this shouldn't say next lesson. It should say, okay, no quiz yet. This was kind of a beta thing. But sometimes there's stuff in there. Normally when you're in the courses, you're dealing with the Japanese from Zero courses right here, which is all 5 of the books. Quite different than the kind of, these are like the experimental courses I was working on. They're not completely done yet. All right. What are we saying? What's next here? Let's see. My special edition cover book 4 came earlier this month. I love it. Yes. This one right here. Special book cover 4. All of the books had special covers. They're not available, I don't think, anymore. I think we took them down. Let me see. I think we took them down. We should have. FromZero.com. It was, I think, here at Shop From Zero here. If it doesn't say sold out, you might still be able to get them. These are all the latest. Oh, maybe we can still get them. Big savings, guys. Oh, no, they're sold out. Sorry. Yeah, you can't get them. Here, we'll take that down. Take that down, Trombley. All right. Yeah, these are gone now. But we've had multiple special covers. There was these. These are the chibi covers. And these right here were what we called the cherry covers because they have cherry blossoms on them. And that's that. Those are the special covers. Gone now, though. Sorry about that. If you were looking for that, you have to wait until we do it again, which we don't know when we're going to do. It's random. Like in the beginning of every quarter, right? At the beginning of every quarter, we have like meetings. And it's like, what do we want to do this quarter? And someone will say, you want to do like a special sale on the FromZero.com? Like, no, how about we do the books? How about we do a special cover? But the special covers take a lot of time because we have to get artwork done for them. Normally, if it's a new set. Like this was a new set of special covers. So I'm glad you're enjoying it though. All right. What is the best way to learn kanji without spending any money? You're asking a guy that sells kanji books how to do it for free? I don't know. You have to buy a book. Even if it's not our book, you have to have something. I imagine there's a way to do it by just finding some good YouTube videos that talk about it. Like, I don't even, did I even make, I do have a Kanji from Zero video series that I did start, but I think I only did like 6-7 lessons on it. Let's double check here. Let's go look. I think I have a playlist for Kanji from Zero. That'll at least get you started. Right here. Here you go. Here you go. Right here. So Kanji from Zero. Why you should start learning the 4 elements of Kanji. These are all language. These are all Kanji lessons. But as you can see, it only goes up to here. So unfortunately, I've only built 8 lessons. But hey, it's a start. This is from 8 years ago. Hello and welcome to Japanese from Zero. This is a brand new series. We don't do that. I'm not a fan of books like that. So anyway, you can watch that in your free time. That is free. That's about the only thing I can, without talking about companies that I haven't seen what they're doing. There's one Ikani, but that costs money. They're not free. I don't know. Good question though. Maybe someone else can answer that. All right. Let's see here. Elena Jalab. Hello, it's currently past midnight here in Canada. So good evening, George, sir. I had a question about the different Japanese words to say the same word in English since one kanji changes and one not. Which, can you show that to me, Elena? I'm ready to hear which kanji you're talking about. Different Japanese words to say the same word in English. So let me explain something, okay? I want you to imagine, there's a graphic that I have in the book, so I'm trying to get you to imagine this book. We have one big E right here, and E represents one word in English, okay? And sometimes the E equals, here, we'll use this speaker. This is E, this is our big E. Sometimes it equals a J. For example, cat equals neko. Always, right? There's no other word that really, cat is always just neko, right? And dog is always just inu, right? But sometimes there is one E and 4 J's over here. So this English word can be 4 different Japanese words that all translate back to this one English word. So you're like, well, why is there 4 different Japanese words, right? For example, let's go back to that bakari example. Bakari in some cases meant just, but so could dake also mean just. And so can shika also mean just. So now we have 1 E and 3 J's. Now in Japanese case, we explained, well, no, that was a different thing. But in Japanese, sometimes each one of those is used in different situations. For example, dake is just or only when you're talking in a positive sense. Not positive like it's a good thing or a bad thing positive, but like a positive construction. So for example, we only have orange, right? What color speakers do you have? We only have orange. I could say orange dake, just orange, arimasu. Means we only have orange. But what about shika? Shika can also mean just, like we just have orange, or we only have orange, okay? By the way, in that case, dake is 1 J and 2 E's. Dake is just dake in Japanese, but it can mean just or only. So Japanese people go, well, when is it just? And when is it only? I only want to talk. I just want to talk. There's slight different nuances in that, right? I only want red. I just want red. There's strength in one versus the other. I don't know. I have to think about how I would teach that to Japanese people, I might just say it's basically the same thing. But you see, that goes 1 to 2. But here we happen to be talking about the word just going to 4 Japanese things. So they're kind of incestuous where they go back and forth, right? Anyway. I wish I remembered exactly what I was talking about. Okay. So dake is dake plus aru. Dake aru, okay? Only have. But shika is used with negative construction to mean, we could translate it to oranji shika nai or oranji shika arimasen. With exception of orange, we have none. But what does that translate to? We just have orange. It's the same thing. We just, oranji dake arimasu. Oranji shika arimasen. 2 different ways to say a basic similar thing, all meaning we only have orange, right? So that happens in Japanese. So when you're talking about this, kanji can mean 2 different Japanese words. That is a very common occurrence where one English word can split into multiple Japanese and one Japanese word can split into multiple English. A lot of times there's just 1-to-1 correlations, and those are nice. Like water is always water, right? Mizu, right? All right. There you go. The eyebrows are taking me out, bro. Oh no. What's wrong with my eyebrows? My eyebrows? Is it my eyebrows? Dude, I promise I'm not shaping my eyebrows. The only thing I do, I'll tell you what I do. I do cut the long hairs. I push up and then I cut. And sometimes I mess it up and it makes it like a really sharp, not sharp. That sharpness there is natural. Maybe you were talking about something else. I don't know what you were talking. Oh, we must have been talking about, hang on. Were we talking about Migaku guy? Lucas? I didn't notice. I'm watching a TV show right now called Schitt's Creek, and it's the father and the son. They have very strong eyebrows, and I think they're really cool. So I'm just wondering why he made the face. All right. Paul Michael says, thanks for everything. I just started studying today. I just finished book 1, pre-lessons A, B, C, D. Hear me out. You're in an older version of the book. I'm not trying to get you to buy a new one, but the new version of the book, which is this, does not have pre-lessons. They do. They still have pre-lessons. But I just want to let you know, we changed it to be lesson 1. So now, just be prepared. You might see this on the website sometime. There is a lesson 17 where this would have been lesson 12 in the previously unupdated book. This is the updated book. This came out, I think 2 years ago. 3 years ago now. Okay, 3 years ago this book came out. The new updated version with better styling. Some sections got added. Some sections got refined. So if someone says they have pre-lesson ABC, I know it's a little bit older. And I'll tell you what, I actually thought I was working on a book where I would remove the pre-lessons and jump right into, I'm thinking about a new series that doesn't go through a bunch of stuff before you get right to constructing sentences. It wouldn't be a From Zero series. I was kind of thinking about what should I do there. I have a couple other Japanese names that I spent good money to get the domains, so I might actually release them one day. It's a thought. Anyway, I'm going to start working on the Kana from Zero book to practice learning hiragana and katakana. You don't have to do that, Paul. You could just use Japanese from Zero and take it easy through the progression. Now, that's one thing that's different in the newer version of the book. We start in lesson 1, which used to be pre-lesson A. Now right away, like from the very, very first, that's why I did it, by the way. I wanted to teach hiragana right away instead of what was essentially lesson 6 in the book or lesson 5 in the book. Even though we called it lesson 1 because there was A, B, C, D, E, I think up until A, B, C, D, E pre-lessons. That was why I made that change. I got rid of the concept of pre-lessons because they're still lessons, right? Okay. Art and culture. Many polyglots say you must start with only read and listen, and after that, grammar. Can we do that in Japanese? Hear me out. Many polyglots don't know what they're talking about. And I'm not saying that because I'm better than any polyglot, but a lot of these polyglots, how can you read Japanese first? How? You can't. You can't. But the concept that some of them push, okay, is that you shouldn't speak for 6 months. What planet are you on where that's fun or good? And this is all opinion based. You know that I don't think there's any studies that show it. If there is, show me. Like, and it better be overwhelming. Like 90% of the people that read first for 6 months, like, what are you going to learn? Hiragana, kanji, katakana, all of that, and like you're fluent in Japanese reading, but you can't say anything. That makes no sense. I would rather learn that arigato means thank you, and then use arigato, because there are a lot of people that learn Japanese in their head. Like, if you ever watch some of my videos, okay, I will say this all the time in the video. Say it out loud. Like, what is this? I'll put something on the screen and say, what is this? Say it out loud. Why do I do that? Because you can lie to yourself in your head. Like, I'll throw up a word, right? Let's say I throw up inu. And I go, what is that? I said, even in the English answer, say it out loud. Say dog. Because you'll go, you'll think, cat. You'll have like multiple competing thoughts in your head, and you won't know which one it is until I say, that's correct, it's dog. And then you go, I knew it was dog. I knew it was dog. But you didn't know. You really didn't know. The only way you'll know if you really knew is if you said dog or inu. So you have to say it. Why? It's a whole different building of a pathway in your head. Do you realize when you're learning a language, you're not using one skill, you're using like, I don't know, probably 15 different skills, right? But let's talk about the big ones, right? You have to be able to hear without any words at all, hear Japanese, and somehow in your head know that it's this word in English, or hear English and know that it's this word in Japanese. That's one step. Hear, translate, well, it's 2 steps. But then to speak it is way more involved, because often when you're talking with somebody, you have to formulate your thought in Japanese to respond, right? While you're still listening to what they're saying, you're simultaneously translating in your head, and then the muscles in your mouth have to know how to say it, right? So how do you make that happen? By speaking, not 6 months in. Do you know how many people quit in 6 months? Nearly everybody, I bet. I mean, if I look at usage of the website, for example, I know most people are on course 1. Course 2 people are, because it's a lot of work. It's not this like easy thing. Do you know, every language that I've ever studied, it's frustrating. And if you're busy, you got work, you will easily quit. You will easily quit. It's a common thing. So are you going to add more roadblocks to where, I'm going to have this strict diet of only reading, which you can't do, and listening, which you won't understand, which will be boring. But what if I want you to imagine you didn't let your baby speak. I want you to think about that. You didn't let your baby say dada mama. You're just like, Jennifer, you're not yet 6 months. Ixnay on the mama say. Is that what you're going to say? Is that what you're going to do to your kid? No. You're like, woo, you spoke some Japanese. Imagine, hear me out. I just finished Spanish from Zero, right? So all of the Spanish that I know is from Spanish from Zero. Okay. I have a co-author that's obviously a native. Okay. Hugo. And it took us years to write this book. So what I know in Spanish is from this book. And I was over at this restaurant yesterday, or 2 days ago. Sorry. I want to be accurate in my story, guys. It was 2 days ago. So 2 days ago I'm at the restaurant, and I spoke just a little bit of Spanish. And I'm telling you, it's about the 4th time that I've really used Spanish to get something done. And I cannot tell you how different it is from me making very complicated grammar example sentences in Spanish from Zero. I can make and translate, at least for my level, what are very involved sentences. But can I say them to the lady putting vegetables on my rice over at this Mediterranean cafe? No, because I've never done it. I've never used verduras in a sentence. Is it yo quiero? Is it quiero? Is it necesito? Am I going to accidentally say necesitas? Like which one am I going to use? Because that is all pathways that have to be built in the brain, right? So you speak and you get feedback from people, right? That's why I love speaking. Now, I will say this is my only caveat. Everyone is a little bit different. I do believe there are some different ways that people learn. Some people like they have to look at it, right? Like I definitely love looking at a word because I realize if I could see it in my head, I can memorize it way, way better. And I'll give you a good example. When I was really doing Korean hardcore, like 13 years ago when I started, I could not sing any Korean songs unless I understood the lyrics and the grammar behind the sentence that was being said, because I couldn't read fast enough the Korean to be able to sing to the speed of the song until I could do the thing where I could glance at it and remember, oh yeah, this is what's being said here. And then the grammar would pop, like I could autofill the grammar, right? So that for me was important. But I have other friends that don't speak Korean at all. They just memorize it completely with the sound. So there are different ways that people learn. And I think what happens is, honestly, I don't think anyone's trying to cheat you. I don't think the guys that say that are trying to cheat you. I think that's what worked for them. I personally, that would not work for me. I would literally stop learning the language if I couldn't say it right away. Like, you don't know how much joy I get out of like saying Spanish sentences right now because I'm learning Spanish, right? And how much joy I still get out of speaking Korean sentences. Japanese is whatever. That's so old hat to me. But Korean, I'm like on cloud nine when I'm having a conversation. I made a video a while back when I was in Korea a few months back, and all it is my Korean was on fire today. You know, that's all. I was just so excited to be on fire in Korean. But you know what I've never done? Been on fire because I learned a piece of grammar or I read something in Korean. It's not exciting. To me, communication, saying something and getting something back, it's so awesome. Oh, by the way, can I ask you a question? Is my voice out of sync at all? Because this camera has a slight delay from my microphone. I think I've set it up properly. Let me know if there is and I'll try to fix it. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. We're going to go back to where I was. Okay. Bakari does like 7 things. Japanese in an effing nutshell. Yes. But again, like I said, real cavemen, I think you know this if you think about it. English things also do 7 or 8 things. And I'm going to give you an example right now. Ready? What's your take on this speaker? Oh, could you please take this? All right, we're going to shoot the commercial for the speaker. Take 1. I can't take it anymore. Oh, I'll be right back, guys. I got to go take a... You know what comes after that. That's take. How do you think Japanese feel about that? That's one word doing a million different things in English, okay? Every language has it. Korean has it. Spanish probably has it. I don't know enough Spanish to know what has what anymore yet. Book 1 only. You normally don't learn that stuff until you get a little bit higher in the language. All right. Speaking of Clint Eastwood, 1,000 Years Stare, what's up with the face in my video's intro? My video intro? You mean this one? You mean this is the face that I always make. I don't know, it's just the face I make. Nothing is Noth is Patrick. That is a weird name. Georgia, I'm a big fan. Oh no, it's followed with a butt. Hang on. George, I'm a big fan, but actually I have to go to sleep. Oh, okay. Whew. Thought there was some criticism coming. I have to go to sleep. Thank you for everything. Okay. 会話でばっかりっていう文法を初めて使ったばっかり。I just used ばっかり for the first time in conversation. Very nice. Ryoken, damn, George is so professional in this video. Oh, the video. Yeah, I'm always late. Look, I just had a discussion with Mike earlier. He's like, you should do videos in front of the TV again when you're standing and doing this. I don't know, man. So 毎日朝ごはんを食べてばっかり. No. It's more powerful than 毎日朝ごはんを食べますよ. No. 食べてばっかり is constantly. It means constantly doing a thing. All I do all day long is talk to customers. Or I listen to customers' complaints all day long. It's all I do. You wouldn't say all I do all day, every day is eat breakfast. That is where the grammar is wrong, right? Right? It doesn't work there. There's a lot of time where when you direct translate Japanese into English, it sounds like it would be correct. But that's because J can go to multiple E's, right? That happens. So if you're saying, every day I just eat breakfast, right? That's what you're trying to say. That would be, I only eat breakfast. Or it has to be definitely like, so, 私は毎日朝ごはんだけ食べます. There's where it's だけ or 朝ごはんしか食べません. I only eat breakfast. That's what you're trying to say. 食べてばかり means I constantly eat. So think about it. It's not what you were trying to say, right? And it's weird. Who does that? The real caveman says, George finally heading to Japan for the first. I can't believe that, caveman. It's been 10 years since we didn't we play StarCraft like 6 years ago? And you haven't been to Japan? I'm happy you're going finally. I'm really happy you're going. I mean, the yen couldn't be better for you. Little bit of anti-foreigner sentiment starting in Japan. I mean, it's always been there under the kind of under the radar, but so you should be okay though. I didn't have any problems when I was there. I had zero problems. Okay. Thinking we're gonna go to Sendai. What's your take on that? I love Sendai. Yeah. You know, my thought is you'd be better in Sendai because you wouldn't be surrounded by all the other foreigners. There's so many foreigners. Like if you go to Kyoto, there's like 1 billion different foreigners there. I just had a Japanese friend talk about it. She said it was packed with foreigners. She went there and she's like, packed. Way more than before. And when I was in Japan, when was that? A few months back, Akihabara was just packed with foreigners. I've never seen that many foreigners. It's insane. So Sendai, a little bit off the beaten path, still a big, beautiful city. And I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like to go to tourist destinations anyway. Like when I go to Korea, I do stay in Gangnam, which is kind of touristy, right? But I'm there to just live there. I'm just there to enjoy, going to restaurants in the area, going to my Korean class, going to stores, whatnot, walking around. I'm not there to see temples. What? Okay. Julio Torres 5103 says, what is Tanaka-san doing these days? A From Zero reference. I do not. I haven't talked to Tanaka-san in a while. Hideaki Aono says, George, any updates on the limited reprint chibi? We just ended that. Sorry. Oh, you ordered. Oh, you need to contact us on that one. I don't do the shipping. So I don't know. You should have gotten it. If you ordered it 12.5, you should have gotten that way back. You can have Hugo help you out. Hugo's the guy. Send him an email at Hugo or respond to your order confirmation. That'll help him because he can look you up. Hugo will help you. That's his job. I apologize. I'm not trying to steer you away from getting help. I really don't do the orders at all. I'm like the front man. I hype the new covers. I work on getting the new covers out. I beg them. The only reason the chibis came back out, I was like, can we put them back up? Because there was some resistance. I was like, are we going to do that again? We told them we weren't going to do it again. I know, but people were asking for it. They wanted the chibis back because they wanted to complete their collection. So I'm like, let's put them back up. Tell me how can. Okay, I'm trying to figure out. Tell me how I cannot pay you for the services you offer. Oh, yeah. Referring back to the guy. Well, I think the real caveman, I think a lot of people just don't know. They're here for the first time. They don't know who I am. So they're not trying to be rude. They just don't know. That's fine. And it's like when people ask me, like, what do you think is the best way to learn Japanese? And I try to explain to them, like, you can't ask me that question and get a real answer because I'm biased. Like, I literally wrote books thinking that was the best way. Like, that's my best attempt to teach you Japanese. Of course, you could say, well, what are some things I could do to get better? And I'd be like, oh, listen to podcasts, watch Japanese movies, find some TikTokers that are Japanese. How about this one? How about that one? I can make recommendations. NYC Jenny Des says, I pay for WaniKani, but you should buy George's kanji books. The kanji books are very good, I would say. I had a discussion with Hugo about how we could finish books 3, 4, and 5 on that too, because I haven't really been working on them. They're so close to being done. Julio Torres says, this man taught me inu is dog. Did you just learn that? Good word. You'll never forget it, hopefully. I'm trying to read this name. Asael Duerte Salazar 3058 says, George, can you recommend some funny TV shows or channels in Japanese to learn more about Japanese comedy, like Tsukomi and Boken? I'm going to give you one that I really like. Give me a second. I think they're Tamayuru Gakuen. They're one of my favorites. Hang on, give me a second. I'm going to make sure I get it to you. Tamayura Gakuen. There it is. Okay. Oh, actually, here's a video. Okay. Here's a video of me actually talking about their channel called Japanese Woman Harassed When Eating a Strawberry. This is pure comedy, these guys. Wait, hang on. Wait, I can't hear anything. I muted myself. Okay, here we go.
今こういうタイミングで聞けばいいじゃん。なんでわざわざその口に入ってるタイミングでこうやりますよ。
Hey everybody, it's George Trombley with Japanese from Zero. Today we're going to be doing another Japanese from Zero live analysis where we look at a video in Japanese and tear up the dialogue, look at all of the grammar that they're using and the words that they're using, and see how much we can learn from a very short 2-minute video. We're going to be doing it from the channel Tamayura Gakuen right here. Tamayura Gakuen is the channel. Let's go ahead and look at it. They are a comedian group from, I believe, Yoshimoto, which is a really famous production company in Japan that produces a lot of fun comedians. And I believe they are boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, I'm not exactly sure, but the whole thing that they do is act like they are not boyfriend and girlfriend. And the man will say creepy things to the girl and she'll be like, no, I don't know why you would say it that way. No. She's a lot of refusing. I know it sounds creepy, but I promise you it's just really funny to watch because sometimes they flip it around where the girl is doing it to him. I love that what they do seems supernatural and what I would imagine a girl would say if you were being creepy like that. And the guy has the face. He pulls out. I mean, I probably been a little bit creepy myself. Off the creepy face really well. So let's go ahead and look at not this main channel, which I want you to subscribe to here, but I also want you to subscribe to their secondary channel, which is things that they've cut out, which I find tend to be shorter and a little bit more digestible. The first video we're going to look at is from this second channel, and it is this one right here. It's called Omaera Dose Watashi no Kuchi no Naka ga Mitai n daro. So let's just go ahead and at least analyze that title. So Omaera, we don't have to look it up. I already know. It means you guys. It is very rough. You guys. We'll make these a little bit smaller. I think you can see them. Okay, so that means you guys. And dose means anyhow or anyway. Dose, like anyhow, anyway. Let's go ahead and look it up just to make sure I'm not making things up. Anyhow, in any case, at any rate, after all, no matter what, okay? It is like dose something, like you assume what they have done is true. Like you're just trying to blah, blah, blah anyway, whatever. Like let's say a really hot girl wants to marry a really old man. You could say, dose o kane no tame no kekkon desho? It's just a marriage for money anyway. Dose, right? Okay, good one. Now let's move on. Dose watashi no kuchi no naka. We all know that means inside my mouth. Ga mitai n daro. You just want to see inside my mouth. And the daro is a short for daro, which means right. We have desho and daro, and they mean the same thing. This one is a little bit more rough, and this one is more normal. you could say sometimes this is female and this is male, but iku desho, you're going right. Iku daro, you're going right. It's just, that's what those mean. Okay, so we're going to just add that these are like right. Okay, right. All right, moving on. Kirinuki just means cut out. We don't need to learn that word. So let's just go ahead and start watching the video.
あったかい。
Now, I want to point out, she says atakai. Let's just put that up as a word for now. Atakai. Because there's that one and then there's this one. Okay. Oh my God, it doesn't know the kanji. It doesn't know the kanji for atakai. Okay. Let's just remember that, okay? It means warm.
あったかい。
It's warm, isn't it?
何
Or it's warm, huh?
あったかいですね。
いちごあったかい
いちごが。
No, already it's a little bit perverted, right? The way he's acting, the way she's responding. I don't know. It's the way that they move around that makes it fun for me. The little shigusa. You know what shigusa means? It's the little things that they do. Shigusa. I think it's like movements, like body movements. But we're gonna look it up. Shigusa. Gesture, movement, action, behavior, mannerism. Ooh, that's a better word. Let's say mannerism. I love the mannerisms. It's just funny the way that they make their mannerisms. Okay. Anyway, that's one channel that I really like, Tamayura Gakuen for comedy, because they're pretty active in making content. Let's check though and make sure that they're still making content because it's been a while. Let's see if I can find Tamayura Gakuen. Oh, here's an. Okay, no, that was something different. Okay, Tama. Give me a second. Where's my Japanese mode? Okay, Tamayura Gakuen. All right, here they are. Let's see. Oh, did they make a song? Okay. 3 years ago. Well, here we go. This is them definitely. See how they're a little bit perverted in what they do. Okay. This literally just says Tetsuguri Choco, so it's handmade chocolate. But you see what they're doing. Okay. But they've got stuff up from 13 days ago. They're a comedy group, so if you're offended by anything, don't look at it. Okay. So here we've got stuff from 4 days only, 4 days ago for members only. Let's see.
りなちゃんのグラビアを堪能してあげたいってことでりなちゃんっていうのは他でもないね僕
And a good thing that they do is they subtitle everything, right? So it's oh look at people trying to find the spot where she's in her bathing suit. Here we go. This is what everyone's looking for. You can tell like the amount of people that clicked here.
いや、動画撮ると思ったから来ただけなんですけど。
ああそうそう全然変な意味とかなくて純粋に動画撮りたいなーって思ってさ
うん、だからそういう風に思って私も来たんですけど、軽々しいよなみたいに言うのやめてくれますか。はい。
あまあじゃあ純粋どうぞそっちゃっていいか
We're just gonna
ああ、片付ける。
Okay, what are all the tissues doing up here? I'm sure that's part of the joke, but this is very typical, I would say, Japanese. Let's see if there's any other channels that they recommend. Sometimes though, because they're managed by, it says, 妄想で付き合ってるカップル channel. A channel where the couple is dating each other delusionally or like not really, they're not really dating each other. That's what they're saying. But I have a feeling they're married, honestly, if I'm being honest here. Do we have a thing for channels? We have podcasts. Okay. That's interesting. Tama Ura, which means behind the balls. Tama means ball. Anyway, they're pretty active. I recommend it. That's all I'll say there. I'll give you the link to that in the chat. Therefore, you have it. Where did you guys go? Here we go. Who else? Is there anything else that I recommend? Comedy wise? Like, okay, if you want to watch some, I guess it's another perverted one, but if you look up Shimura Ken, he's already dead, but his stuff was really funny. If you look up Shimura Ken, there's a lot of his stuff from back in the day that's hilarious. I can't show it to you because I'll get nicked on stuff, but his stuff is really funny. There's other groups like you could look up Japanese comedy groups for example. Like I think kuro mayonezu is one. I'm just trying to remember. Kuro. Oh, I put kura. Kuro mayonnaise. I'm not sure why I did all of that kanji. Why did it do that? Kuro mayonnaise. I think that's another group. I'm probably dating myself. No, that wasn't it. Hang on. Is that what their name was? Kuro mayonnaise. Okay. Hang on. Japanese. Hang on. Oh my God. Type please. Yume na kombi. Okay. Sandwich man. I don't know what that is. That's probably a new. Let's look at that. These guys. So a lot of times Japanese guys will create groups, like a 2-person comedic group. So all I did was look up famous groups. Warai kombi is another word that they call that. So that's Sandwich Man. So maybe then if we go to videos, we'll see these. If they're doing what's called manzai, that's going to be just a back and forth of them talking. But there's a lot to learn.
どうもよろしくお願いいたします。で、本当におかげさまでね、本当にバタバタ毎日やらせていただいております。忙しいですね。ゆっくりね、こうお家でテレビ見る時間っていうのもなかなか。
Now these ones, I'm not sure if there's subtitles. Let's see.
なんかないです、はっきり言ってね。そんな中ですね、どうしても。
These are going to be auto-generated, so good luck. I mean, sometimes the auto-generated ones aren't good. But if you watch a lot of stuff, you will learn some stuff. So, and I bet once you follow something like Tamayura Gakuen, it'll start recommending other Japanese comedy channels, most likely. Like, for example, if I click one of these videos, we can see what shows up over here. Okay, a night of transsex in the district. Yeah, that's not a comedy one for sure. Your ball size and what it says about you. I just subscribed to this ASP Science channel. I feel like I've been let down a little bit, and that I should get a something to block all of this from when I'm doing streams. Let's see if we can find anyone else. No. Oh, you know what we could do? We'll just type comedy. Here, how about that? Try to find oh, okay. Okay, here we go. Japanese stand-up comedy. Like, this would be a good one. I mean, I've seen this girl before. She's actually pretty funny. I'll give you that link right here. Give you that link. All right, we've gone far enough there. I think we found some good stuff, and also embarrassed ourselves quite heavily. By showing other things that pop up in my feed. Okay. Okay. Is the Kindle version updated on Amazon? No, Paul, it is not. I do not highly recommend the Kindle versions. They are not updated for the sole fact that that's how all of our books got pirated when I did the Kindle versions. We never were pirated until then, so I never updated them so that I wouldn't update the pirate versions. So if you get versions of the books now, they're very outdated if they're the pirated versions. It was a huge problem for us for a while. I remember when it happened, I thought the company was done. I called one of the co-owner. I called Justin, he's a co-owner, and I said, who do we fire and in what order? How do we shut this thing down? Because we went from money every month and no money because we got pirated. So luckily we were able to solve that by not updating the Kindle and by shutting down the people that were pirating it. We got pretty good at that. I cannot tell you how, but we got good at it. We have our ways. I told you we have our ways. Where was I? Man, I'm too far behind here. Okay. What's the difference between koto ga dekiru and rareru and reru potential form of any verb? Let me think about that. So, taberu koto ga dekiru is a little bit stiff, but it means it is able to be eaten. Like if I heard 食べることができる, it's like you could say like, wow, this looks like a speaker. It's made out of a special polymer, and guess what? 食べることができる. It's able to be eaten. I feel like it would be in that moment. But are you hungry? 食べれる. Yeah, I could eat. I can eat. 食べられる. Oh wait, can you eat fish? Oh, 魚食べられる. Yeah, I can eat fish. I have the ability. I don't hate it. It feels a little bit stiff to say 食べることができる. So, you know, the thing about 食べることができるthat's really nice is you don't have to think about converting the verb to anything. But it's almost like saying, is it possible to eat it? 食べることができますか? Instead of can you eat it? So if you said 食べることができますか? I would say it sounds like you're asking, is it possible that this is edible? これはさ、これ食べることができますか? Is this able to be eaten? I'm like, no. Why would you ask that? Versus, I can eat it or I can't eat it. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't eat non-halal food. You know what I mean? I can't eat it. 食べられないんですよ。ハラルじゃないから because it's not ハラル or 宗教が something about my religion, whatever you want to say that might mean you can't eat a thing. And by the way, that's a good example of can eat can become two things in Japanese and they're used in different ways. I have the old book one. Is it okay to go into the new book too? Yes. Yes. The new book two is it over here? Okay. I don't think I have. I do over there, but I don't want to disturb my shelf any more than I already have because it's already a pain to put these books back and line everything up. But yes, the book 2 is fine. We didn't jumble up book 1 as much as we jumbled up book 2. Book 2 is, if you ask me, could I go to book 3, the new one after the old book 2? I would say, maybe not. You might want to kind of look through book 2 and see if you got everything out of that because we assume you know what's in book 2 in the new book 3, right? All right. Let's see here. I bought book 1 on Amazon January 9th this year, Kindle version. I wanted to buy the physical copy from your website, but I do a lot of my studying while working. Yeah. I'm sorry to say that, Paul, that that version is book version 5 and I haven't updated it. And I purposely haven't updated it because it's so easy to break any Kindle controls that they have to prevent you from turning it into a PDF and just printing it that I'll never update it in that format again. There will be some time in the future and I've been talking about this for years, so don't look forward to it, where I turn it into what's called a flow format. Those make no sense to make physical books out of. Suhi Eatery Apper. I do not know how to read that, I guess. I'd say make Japanese friends first. It's good to use basic greetings with them and talk to them. It's the best feeling ever. That's the thing. It might be scientifically better to absorb things in reading form for 6 months before you speak, but it doesn't feel good. It's way more fun to talk to people, like way more fun. Talking with Japanese people keeps me motivated. Yep, that's it. If you're only studying, you will quit. It is not fun to study without using it. The amount of dopamine that hits your brain when you talk to somebody or get something done. I remember I teared up in my first trip to Korea. I've been studying for a while, but I was using Korean as much as I could, but I wasn't fluid with it yet. You know what I mean? So when I first got there, I made a friend named Gao Yong, and me and Gao Yong, she took me from the airport, right, to my apartment. She got me data for my cell phone, everything. And I was with her when we got the data for the cell phone. And I remember there was a girl there that spoke English. So I could have done it in English with the girl that spoke there, but Gao Yong helped me out in Korean and asked me a bunch of questions and translated them to me because my Korean was still iffy. But about a month and a half later, because I was still in Korea, I had been studying in classes. I had been using it in the language meetups. So my brain got pretty fluid, not fluent, but fluid. I could think immediately what I wanted to say in Korean, and I could, because that's the other thing. You know why it's hard to speak a language? Because not only are you trying to take the thought that you have and put it into Korean, you have to formulate your thought. So you're formulating your thought, which has to be which is probably normally in English in your head, and spit it out in Japanese or Korean, right? So for me, when I ran out of data, Gaoyong was working, and it was like early in the day. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just go see if I can do this, because I knew there was the girl there that spoke English. So I went to the Ole office, which is what the phone company, and I went in, and she wasn't there. So the guy just directed me upstairs to where all the normal Korean people go. They have like these cubicles of women that don't speak in English. They're not designed for foreigners. They're designed for Korean people to go in. And I just explained it all in Korean. I was like, I ran out of data. I want to get more data, but I'm concerned because the last time when I topped off data, I lost my phone number for a while. I want to make sure I can still do conversation. And I did all of that. Okay. And I have to understand, I'm like, my brain was like white. Like it was like, I don't remember. I blacked out. Like, I don't know what happened, but I fixed everything. I got it all done, right? And I remember I walked out of the Ole office, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, I just used Korean to accomplish something. And I did it with no issues. Like, did I have mistakes in my Korean? Absolutely, I must have. What, did I sound like a native Korean? No freaking way. But did I use the language as a tool and get 100% what I needed from that person that didn't speak my language? Yes, I did. That is a triple A plus experience. And I remember I got out of the way of people because I had stopped. And I just got out of the way, and I kind of went on the corner of the building, and I just went, and I was just like, for a moment, just for a brief moment, a little bit teared up, because it was wow, look what a month and a half of using a language does versus studying it for a month and a half, right? And I have one more final experience that I want to talk about with Korean. And I'm sorry, it's not a Japanese experience, because that is so long ago in my history, it's not relevant, okay? Korean is very relevant because it's recent and I remember it. But I was taking these classes in Korean, in Korea, and they're all in Korean. And I had a problem with my teacher in like level 6. This teacher could never admit when they were wrong. They could never say they didn't know. And I'm going to make the story really, really short. But let's just say I had such a big problem with this teacher that in the middle of one of the classes, I got up, packed my books up, and left angrily. I was done with this teacher. And I was never going to go back. So I went downstairs to the principal's office, who I had met, I think, 6-7 years prior. And that woman, when we first met, everything we did was in Japanese. She's Korean, but she was fluent in Japanese. And my first teacher even spoke fluent Japanese. So the classes were done in Japanese the first time I took a Korean class in Korea. So when I met the principal for the first time, every negotiation and discussing of the schedule was done in Japanese. Now I'm angry. It's 6 years later. And I go to the classroom, or to the principal's office. I tell her I have a problem, and we sit in a little area while I explain it to her. And I'm angry, and I'm like, this teacher this teacher that. And for about 10 minutes, I unload on her, all in Korean. The whole thing. I made one mistake. I said "mujun," which in Japanese means to contradict, because this teacher would contradict herself, but it's mosun in Korean. So mujun should have been mosun. I mixed it up. Luckily, the teacher spoke Japanese, so she knew what I meant. That was my only mistake the whole time. I mean, hear me out. There was more mistakes, but that's the one that I'm aware of, okay? But when I finished that, she moved me to a higher class where we just read newspapers and articles and discuss them, which was awesome. And I walked out of the building, and again, in a daze, just like, wow, how far I've come, that I can be angry in Korean and communicate in Korean angrily. That's huge. You can't get that by just reading. You can't get that without doing it. Even if you have seen a fight in Korean 1,000 times, if you haven't said it, or Japanese even, if you haven't said it and moved the word from this part of your head to this part of your head, you will struggle to do it, right? It's like these people that watch boxing all day long. Do you think they can box? No, because it means something. What is it like? Like there's a feeling when you're blocking or when you're punching, right? That was probably not a good punch. But my point is, until you actually throw a punch, how can you could study it all day long and not know how to throw a punch? Speaking is like throwing a punch. Speaking is like walking instead of watching videos on how to walk. Okay? So you have to speak. Alrighty. Sorry, off topic. When is Spanish from Zero? Anonymously mad. I just finished that 2 days ago or yesterday. Either yesterday or the day before that. The only thing that's left is checks and balances. Just making sure it's fine and the cover. So it's pretty soon. It's actually more sooner than it's ever been. But that could also mean 5 years. No, that won't happen. It won't be 5 years. It's going to be, I was predicting that it would be crazy for it to not be out by March. Julio Torres says, I relate to it being too much. I did my best for a few months and I noticed some progress. Yeah, if you overdo your studying and you're not enjoying Japanese or you're not having fun with it, you'll stop. Nothing is in a vacuum. You know what I mean? Like, every year you got to pay taxes, every year, you got quarterly reports that you got to do at your company. You got to buy a new couch. Your car breaks. You got to bring it over to the car place. And so many things happen. You got kids that have got plays you got to go to. How are you going to, hear me out. When am I going to read Jurassic Park in Spanish? I have to make time for that. I have to carve out time for that. Right? And if it gets too much, I'll just stop. Honestly, I will stop. I won't force myself to read that whole thing if I'm not getting something out of it. Should I keep my hopes up for JFC book 5 videos and a JFC book 6? Ooh, book 5 videos. Yeah. I'm much closer to that than book 6. So don't keep your hopes up for book 6. Thanks to From Zero for releasing Japanese language lessons and courses. It really helped me have a fair start at learning Japanese. Thank you, Mr. George Trump. I appreciate you saying thank you. Thank you. Okay, so there's no delay. That's good to hear. I was asking earlier if there was a delay on my voice. Good. Eduardo Estrada says, 彼はいつも部屋で音楽を聴いてばっかりです. Yeah, he's always listening to music in his room. That's great. He's constantly listening to music in his room. You nailed it. How about Nagoya and Fukuoka? Fukuoka is really, I don't like Nagoya. Nagoya is boring to me. I'm not a fan of Nagoya. But it'd still be good. Like if you've never been anywhere. But Fukuoka, I like Fukuoka. One of the main reasons I like Fukuoka is it's very friendly to foreigners, I feel. And it's close to Korea. So you can take a ferry boat over to Korea, which is kind of cool. MC Benjamin says, will there be a separate YouTube channel for Spanish from Zero lessons? Yeah, it would be separate, assuming we're going to do it. In my head, I imagine me teaching Spanish with Hugo together as a group. I think we can do it because I know that material very well now as myself. I mean, I wrote the material with him, so I feel pretty confident that I could explain it. Could I explain beyond that? No. Did I learn past tense and future tense? And no, I didn't. I don't know it. Not at all. Do I know more than book 1? Yes, a little bit. Book 2 has already started. We've got 3 lessons in book 2 that we moved over from book 1. We realized it was too much for book 1. But yeah, I would imagine there'd be a channel. Did you know there's a Japones desde Zero channel? Like there's a whole channel that teaches Japanese from zero in Spanish. It's very unpopular. It's not popular at all. The real caveman says, oh, I'm sorry, hang on. I missed RD's question. I'm currently going through Japanese from zero. What will my level be after I complete book 5? So I don't know if you know the test, but there's a test called JLPT, Japanese Language Proficiency Test. You would be N4. So I've talked to so many people that have done N4 after those books. I can confidently say that will be your level if you basically grasp everything up through book 5. Now, it starts at N5, those tests, and goes to N4. Above that, it is N3, N2, and N1 to get to the higher levels. So you're not exactly halfway there after book 5. The Real Caveman says, that's the idea, is going somewhere with less foreigners. Good. There'll be enough foreigners in Sendai, though. I want to see Matsushima Bay, eat some gyutan. Why would you eat gyutan? Maybe, I'm just not a fan of tongue. But maybe go to a winery owned by Blaise from Monkey Magic. Blaise? I don't know who that is. I've heard of Monkey Magic before. Corey Griffin Models says, what books would you recommend after Japanese from Zero Book 5? I just bought the Quartet series and I'm halfway through the 3rd book currently. I don't know what the Quartet series teaches, so I don't know. I've heard people say Tobira, but I looked at Tobira and it wasn't, I don't know why that would be good after book 5, but I think the thing is, if you're using Japanese and making friends, after book 5, you know a lot. You could buy any like pattern book and just start looking at the patterns. There's a lot of books that teach Japanese in patterns in Japan. Like get some English books that are teaching English patterns to Japanese people, and a lot of times you learn patterns. You know quite a bit after book 5. But like you can just pick up like after book 5, maybe pick up JLPT book for N3 grammar and just look at those patterns. There's a lot that would help you out there. All right. Audio and Garba, loved your background. By the way, what's your suggestion for when something really doesn't make sense? I mean, sometimes some stuff only makes sense for Japanese people. Yeah, there's cultural things that don't make sense. Here's what I recommend. Make a conversation about what it means with a Japanese person, and make not the thing that you don't understand the thing, but make the conversation about it the thing, right? So for example, if you say, this is a common example I like to give, zabuton ichimai. Now, I don't know if modern Japanese people do this, but it was a thing when I was there. And often what will happen is it's whatever's on TV or on TikTok nowadays or YouTube, someone will say it and it'll be like a meme, right? And so they'll say it. But zabuton ichimai means one pillow, like one sitting pillow is what it means. And it used to be if someone said something funny, and I used to do it too. It was funny. I could say, oh, zabuton ichimai. Here, let me give you one sitting pillow. Because there was a show, it's still going on, where comedians make jokes, and if they say something funny, the host gives them a pillow. And the more funnier they are, the higher they stack up. So that's a very cultural thing. But you would have asked, well, what does zabuton ichimai mean? And you could do it like this. Zabuton ichimai te? That's what you have to do. Te. Just add te after it. Whatever the thing you don't know that you heard and you need a little bit more explanation, blah, 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 blah. Te. If you want to go a little bit more deep, te nan desu ka? Te nan desu ka? And it'll force them into an explanation of it. And they'll be like this. They'll do that. But then that will be the conversation. Joji Konnichiwa says Sunozen AR. I learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for making this channel and compiling your Japanese from Zero videos. More to come. By the way, more to come is like proof. The proof that there's more to come is I've redesigned the studio. Whenever I think I want to do some new stuff, if you look at the videos and you see all of a sudden a big jump in style, it's because there was a big pause where I didn't make videos. And then I get excited. I build up the new studio. Like what you don't know is this TV is new. It's bigger. My camera is the first new one I've had in 9 years. New lens, new lights even that are double the brightness of my previous ones. Literally just got this mouse yesterday. So new mouse. This was the previous one. I'm using it for the computer that powers the TV now. So yeah, there'll be more videos. Is it possible to reach JLPT N1 in Japanese through self-study alone, or is coaching necessary? I 100% believe you'll need someone to explain some of those concepts to you. And what I would recommend, this is me. I've never taken the JLPT N1. I've looked at sample tests and I know what's a lot of in the what they're teaching, what they're expecting you to know. But you need to be using Japanese a lot, I think, to do really well. There are people that study N1 just through books and pass N1, but I don't know if they're. I've seen these might be clickbaity or like over exaggerated videos that I've seen where like I'm N1, but I can't have a conversation in Japanese. Like, really? Then you're not N1. Like, hear me out. I personally think, and would I do it? I don't know, to be honest. But if you think you're N1, then go take the test. Don't study for it. See what you know. Fail it once. Then you'll know what you need to learn. That's what I feel. That's when you know your weak spots. Granted, you could only do it like, I think, twice a year. So it would maybe not be beneficial to not study for it before you go in. But like, I always think a test is like, what do you know? Let's get your level. It's like an assessment, not are you good at studying before the test, going in and remembering just enough to do the test, right? But I don't know if you need, and by the way, Android-san, please don't get expensive coaching from these guru people. Just get some cheap teachers on italki or somewhere, or Preply, okay? Just find a Japanese person to help you out. And you can find out what the curriculum, the general there's no official list for what's in any of the JLPT test levels. There's no official list, okay? So there's compiled from previous tests. People have made compilations of what is N3, what is N2. And so you can find something like that and then just find a way to get someone to practice using that grammar with you, right? And try to make a story from your life using that grammar. Find a way to something that's beneficial for you to say in that grammar, right? You know, when I'm in Korea, here's what I do. I learn new grammar because Korea has the test called TOPIK. I've never taken the TOPIK. I do not like to take tests. Don't get me wrong, I actually love to take tests, but I don't need a test to tell you my level. I'm happy just being able to speak it. That's my number one goal. And I'm not trying to get a job. Sometimes you need test levels for jobs. But anyway, so I'm past what used to be, I think, TOPIK level 6. I don't know if they split it or combined it. I don't remember. So I'm apparently above that level, but could I pass that test? Probably not. But I've learned a lot of the grammar within it. But when I'm in classes learning, what I do is I make mental notes of the stuff I learned that day or a new grammar that I learned. And I just think, what can I say with that? Like, what's the thing I would want to say about that, right? And then later that night, I just kind of see if when I'm doing like at a language meetup, or if I'm going out to eat dinner with the people after the language meetup, I'm just on like call with those things. I'm waiting for a chance to say it. And sometimes it leads to funny interactions where I used it wrong. And sometimes what I'm looking for is I used it and nothing happened and the conversation kept going. That builds, either way, actually, if I mess it up, if I use it wrong, or if I use it right, it gives points to the brain to say, it gives feedback to the brain saying, this is good, and that pathway gets stronger, right? Because I will remember that conversation, right? I remember there was one grammar. I was eating meat at a meat place. Surprise, Korea has tons of meat places. I was with two people, and they asked me a question, and I can't remember what the question was and exactly what my response was, but I remember the grammar was "ginunyo," and the way I said it apparently sounded like an old woman, right? And the way it's like, oh, don't tell me about the prices of eggplants. It's like that kind of a thing, right? They died laughing. Well, I didn't take that as I was wrong. I realized I had made a joke unintentionally. So it would be like the equivalent of like, don't get me started on that, is kind of what I did in Korean. And they laughed so hard. So after that point, because of that amazingly good feedback, I did it intentionally a lot, right? So sorry, I was trying to think about where I was going with that, but I want you to find ways to make that grammar part of what you say, right? Not just learn it for the test. Okay? Does that make sense? Because the test doesn't have English on it. It's Japanese. It's mostly like, it's not translation work. It's like, which one of these sentences makes most sense in this situation. And they might say that in English, but then it'll be blah, 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 について, blah, 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 に対して, blah, blah. And you have to figure out, is it the について or the に対して or the に関して? Which one works there? And you have to know the differences between に関して, に対して, について, right? So you have to have used it, I would say, to know, or heard it a lot used in that case. All right. Oh, it's black mayonnaise. Thank you. Black mayonnaise. Not kuro mayonnaise. That's right. That's actually one of my favorite groups. I just forgot their name. It's here. Black mayonnaise. Let's go to videos. Let's see here. Yeah, these guys right here. There we go. Black mayonnaise.
さあ今回はなんとブラマヨ吉田さんに来ていただきま
Buramai, you'll see the Japanese do this a lot. Black mayonnaise was their full name, but they shorten it. Buramai. Black mayonnaise, right? They do that very commonly. I was at a New Year's party, and I heard a new word I'd never heard before in Japanese. The lady said, amapura. Contextually, I 100% knew it was a place where you buy things. I knew she was talking about buying things, and that she says, because I'm amapura, I was able to blah, 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 deliver. And oh, Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime became amapura. But it was instant recognition. I mean, it took me like maybe a fraction of a second to know that's what she meant because of all the context. But you don't get that if you're not speaking. You will not get that by just reading. Sorry, I don't mean to drive that point. Okay. From America to Japan says, I really like Hikakin. He has really good beatbox videos, and as someone who practices beatbox, I really like them. He also has another channel, Hikakin TV. He also has a brother, Seikin, I believe is his name. Hikakin is a little bit cringy for me, so I'm not a fan too much of him. Some of his videos are good, others are too cringy for me, but he is very, very big in Japan. And if you're doing the right thing. If you like beatbox, watching Japanese beatbox is kiss, good stuff. If you want to do something really cool, I've showed this before, and I'll do it again right now just to show it live. Okay. Oh, hot Japanese girls with unexpected answers. Nice. Okay. Sorry. So if you go here and you go to your, where is it? Switch account. You see, I have all of these channels. Okay. I'll come down here and I can, let's see, let's view all my channels here. Let's see. What I would do is I would create one. Okay. I hesitated right now because I don't want to create another one. Maybe this one is the one that I created recently just to show this before. But you create a channel, right? And then what I did on this channel was I looked up things about writing books in Korean. Okay. But I could do it in Japanese as well, like let's do shosetsu, novel. Shosetsu kaku, kaku ho. How to write a novel, right? So I come in here and I create that. I look that up. And then I watch a bunch of videos and I like them and I comment. I even put like just a smiley face, whatever, and I interact, let YouTube know that this is what I want. Okay, so I'm going to watch this.
小説家になりたいと思っています。
I want to become a novelist.
小説家になるためには時間が必要です。
In order to become a novelist, you require time.
自分はまだ小説を400冊程度しか読んでいません。
I've only read about 400 novels.
それで終電まで働く仕事を辞めてしまいました。
And I ended up quitting my job. What does that have to do with the last train? Oh, I ended up quitting the job that I had that made me work until the very last train. So he was working very late. Let me just read the rest. So しかし小説家にみんながなれるわけではないと思います。もう32歳です。どこかで締め切りを決めてやるべきでしょうか? So he's asking advice on about writing a novel. He's saying, I'm working all of these hours. I quit my job and I'm 32 already. I'm feeling old. I need to have a cut point. Like, what do I do? And he's like, this guy's going to give him. So either way, it's what I want to look at because I'm a writer. That's what I'm interested in. I've written my own novel and I want to look at videos in, like, I should do this in Spanish as well. And I would make a whole other channel just called Spanish Writing a Book, Korean Writing a Book. Okay. And I upvote it and I do something like I'll just say something like contents ですね. Something like that, right? So I comment, and that says to YouTube, I'm interested in this. Now, when I go back to here, I'll probably get recommended, there you go, another video, right? How to make a story. Here you go. Classroom on how to write a novel, right? And then obviously this is some Japanese thing that got auto-dubbed from Wired. But you see now, it automatically updated, in real time, updated my algorithm. And I could just keep videos that I like upvoting those videos and commenting. And then before you know it, my whole algorithm is about, look at that, publishing right there. Right? Oh, actually, it's probably still doing the search. That's probably how I found that. Okay. So if you like beatboxing, then literally what I would do is I would create a new channel. Here, let me go to, let me create another. I don't want beatboxing, but let's go to YouTube. And we look up beatbox. Look up how to write it, type it out, and beatbox. Why is this guy? Why has he got kanji and is he Japanese? He's really good. That sounds real. That part. I don't know why that came up on Japanese. All right, I might add something like beatbox sa. Oops, F7. Ni naritai. There you go. Here we go. Human beatboxer. So he's going through his day. One day. His very busy day as a beatboxer. Now the man that wants to become a beatboxer. I'm primarily looking for people that talk about things, though. That's what I want. Oh, this guy looks pretty young. Saikin oboita. Like right there, that's a lesson in Japanese. Saikin oboita. Now, if you look up, if you reverse engineer oboeta, it means oboeru, to remember. But it also translates to learn. That's where Japanese goes to multiple Englishes, right? If we look up oboeru in a dictionary app here, to memorize, commit to memory, learn, bear, to remember. So we normally only learn it as remember. Like oboite nai, I don't remember, but it also means to learn, right? So he says, saikin oboita, recently remembered. So he recently learned that thing. But that's what I would do. I would go through and I would make a whole another separate channel, just not to mess up my normal relaxation algorithm when I'm doing for chillax time. I would make something for when I'm feeling like I want to learn some Japanese, and I would go watch a bunch of videos of people talking about beatboxing or something else that I like in Japanese. That's what I would do. Okay. Here we go. Jake the Bender says, hi George, I just started my Japanese journey 2 weeks ago, moving there for work at the end of the year. You have a whole year. That's awesome. And your books and videos have been incredible to begin with. Much love. Awesome. Oh, Australia. Nice. NYC Jenny Des says, I enjoyed the J-drama with a storyline about the Manzai world on Netflix called Hibana Sparks. It's funny because Hibana means spark. If that sounds of interest, saying that to Asael Duarte. Paul says, oh no, that's awful. I'm sorry to hear about the piracy. That's shitty. I can understand why you had to make that decision. Yeah, sorry about that, Paul, that you ended up buying that. It does say it's version 5 though, I believe. Hey George, James says, I just wanted to let you know that you're a legend, been a great influence on my life. Oh, well, thanks. For terms like hanasemasu and wakarimasu ka, native speakers sometimes pronounce the mas more like mosh, moss. Well, hanasemasu, it's mas, right? They don't say masu, but they can, but they most often say mas. It's just, don't ask why too much. It's just a thing that they do. Hanasemasu ka, hanasemasu. That's the natural way to say it. We even say it in our book. Drop the u on that. Same thing with des. Des is written as desu, but normally you only say desu when you're trying to put emphasis on something like so nan desu. Yes, that is the case. So nan desu. Like if you ever see like a character in a drama or an anime, usually a girl, she might be like ikimasu. I'm going. Ikimasu. I'm going now. Okay. So those are things you learn, by the way, by interacting with Japanese people and watching a lot of stuff. For hiragana, Derek says, for hiragana and katakana, I've been using mnemonic devices to remember them. Un looks like a curvy N. Sei looks like a man with a hat saying something. Do you have more of these that you recommend? There is a whole book on them that I once made a video called The Case Against Mnemonics. Hang on. Hear me out. Let me see if it comes up. Against mnemonic. Am I spelling that right? It's N and then men, right? No. Is it M and then N-E-M? Yeah. Monics. There we go. See if I'm hoping my video comes up. Dang it. My video doesn't come up. I was hoping my video would pop up because I did have a video on it called that, literally. No. Great, George. But if I do Japanese from 0, will it come up at least, please? Okay. Oh, they are lying to you. What was that one? Maybe I spelled mnemonics wrong. Let's go to the channel. I'm only trying to find that book because I thought it was dumb. I thought it was so dumb the way that they were making these mnemonics. But maybe I took this video down. Hang on. Let me look in the back end. Let me switch to my other account. I should have been in that already. Mnemonics. Let me try this way. Where I'm logged in. YouTube Studio. Case. Again, there it is. It removed? Oh, it's unlisted. It's unlisted. I put it in, I linked it inside the book. I did like, but here we'll see this. All right, this is why we're talking about mnemonics right now, okay? And why I really don't like mnemonics. But here's a really amazing mnemonic that is very commonly told even to Japanese children, okay? So you have, so hear me out. In the mnemonics, what book? I did it in one of the books. I think it was book 3, I think, where I started talking about kanji. It was one of the recent books that I updated. And I give the case for and against, and I show you that even though I have a lot of mnemonics now in Kanji for Zero book 3 or 2, I didn't like mnemonics, but I've changed how I feel about it because they are pretty powerful. But let me try to get to the, here we go. This is the book right here. It's so dumb to me. And we have Ra here, okay? And you look at that, it's some sort of animal with a line across his head and a line going like that. You're supposed to remember Ra as in robber. That's what you're supposed to remember. But Na, Ra, and Raccoon, right? Why is it Na, Ra, and Raccoon, actually, now that I think about it? Remember, that is really not an intelligent mnemonic. I really don't think it's done well. Now, are there some good ones in here? Probably. I mean, look at this one. Oh my, just look at this one. Look at this one for Soul. This book, by the way, sells a ton of books. It's got 337 positive reviews. People love this book. I don't love this book because of the mnemonics. Look at this. Look at this one. This one right here. Okay? It's so, as in so. And here's a kid goat got into a fight after school and he got an eye knocked out. The next day when other kids, goats, pointed and said, "You've only got one eye," he said, "So?" Are you kidding me? Who comes up with that? Seriously, that is an overreach. That is trying way too hard. That's like, well, we've made a book and every page has to have a mnemonic, so let's just come up with one. Literally, I could just write the "so" on my phone. This is exactly the equivalent. I wrote the "so" on my phone and I go, "Oh, you have an Android. iPhones are better than Android. So how does that make me remember?" Okay, so that's that book. I think I give another mnemonic for kanji. There's another book. Hang on. This book right here, okay? Chinesey. Now, let's talk about Chinesey. Okay, so this lady did a TED Talk on kanji, okay? On the Chinese characters. And man, did she upset me. I mean, nice, I'm sure she's a nice lady, but the way she was teaching it was like, we make it easy. See, as you see, she didn't say it wasn't mnemonics. It was about how each character is a story. And then she shows like tree, right? And then 2 trees, you see, makes woods. And 3 trees makes a forest. This is actually a very, very good thing. This is a really good thing. We even talk about it in our book. But she made it look like she invented it. Like she came up with that. When literally that is what Chinese characters were supposed to be. They're supposed to be mnemonics. But what does this book do? By the way, beautiful book. This is an absolutely beautiful book. I mean, it's great. And you probably will get something out of it. But you know what? You know what she does in this book? Or he does, or whoever made this book does? They mix traditional characters and simplified characters. They're not even consistent in what they're teaching. It's whatever they could come up with that would match their narrative of teaching you. Because the reality is, and I don't have exact numbers, but I'm going to tell you right now, maybe 20% of the Chinese characters you can look at and figure out what they mean. Like if you understood how they work. If you could get 20%, I'd be amazed. Most of them have literally zero connection. Like you look at it and you go, I have no idea. And that's what I talk about. I talk about that in here. I say, look at these radicals. And look at how the radical, you're supposed to know that this is the fish radical. And if you add fish radical with this, you're supposed to understand that that's a mud flapper, or whatever. So I talk about it in here. I actually show in Kanji from Zero book 2. I think I do it in 1 a little bit too. It is a myth that every kanji has a story that you can grasp. It's a myth. You just gotta hardcore memorize some kanji, okay? You can get help by learning a part of the kanji, and there's certain kanji where just the one part's different. But the reality is, a lot of times the part of the kanji that was added was for the sound that they wanted, not the meaning. So you'll have kanji that you're like, how on earth is that a pictograph? Okay. I wish I could find what chapter that's on. Let me see if I can figure it out. I think it's called like the brutal truth about mnemonics or something like that. But I'm not anti-mnemonic. Like I just think you should make your own mnemonics. Let's see here. Most of these are just same sound, different words. The difference between you and Mosu. There's a lot of good learning in here, by the way. If you're looking for that, you know what? If you want to know what to do after Japanese from Zero Book 5, go to Kanji from Zero Book 2. We have a lot of teaching things in here that are super important to what you need to know that just don't fit in the normal books. I'm gonna look a little bit more and see if I can't find it in here. It might be in book 1 where I talk about that. Like we talk about like all of the kanji that divide Japan up into like prefectures, districts, and royal areas and stuff like that. And then we give the culture behind that. You're not just learning the kanji, you're learning culture behind the kanji. That's what I do in Kanji from Zero. I think that's why people that have told me they love the book, that's why they love it. The problem with kanji dictionary breakdowns and a cheat code for guessing a kanji's onyomi. Let's look at that. 21-2. Page 277. Let's see what I wrote here. Whole section. This is a very wordy thing that I normally don't do, but let's see what this is. The problem with kanji dictionary kanji breakdowns. We touched on this topic in the beginning of the book and in the prior section, but let's go a bit deeper into consistent or seemingly nonsensical kanji constructions. If all kanji were ideographic, parentheses, made with parts based on meaning, we would be able to just learn all of the base parts and then easily and logically imagine most of the meanings of each character. But as discussed in the prior section, sometimes parts are chosen based on the desired sound, and sometimes a part is chosen just because it had the, quote, right look to make a better visual story. And unfortunately, because all kanji weren't created in the same way, it means that making a coherent story that is uniform between all kanji isn't possible. In this book, we chose broad interpretations for each part to avoid pictographic meanings often cited in Japanese sources. However, even in this book, we have assigned meanings to kanji parts based on looks, often when there were no other meanings available. For example, we have this part, which you can't see, but which we call high heels, because it looks like a high heel. For consistency across multiple kanji, each kanji part in this book has only one meaning, no matter what kanji it's used in. Now here is where you might face some difficulty. When looking at Japanese kanji word dictionary breakdowns, they will often not have the same definition for some parts. This is because they seem to favor a more pictographic approach in explaining each character. This might be because the books teaching kanji are often for elementary school children. Because of this, you might be taught that in one kanji, a certain part means big, and in another, it means right hand. And I'm not even making that up. That's actually what I learned when I was researching this book. But this is just the case of a kanji being part being assigned a meaning to match the kanji being taught, while the part's actual meaning might be completely unrelated. It's fine to learn this way, but it also means that you will have to learn multiple unconnected meanings for each part. And these parts, when used in other kanji, might be assigned a completely different meaning. As a result, you might end up thinking your brain is broken or that you are really bad at kanji. Of course, most likely this isn't the case. The final thought on the troublesome mnemonics, the storytelling version, is this. As long as you know kanji itself isn't consistent, you shouldn't feel so bad when your own understanding of kanji isn't consistent. Keep on pushing. There are only 12 more lessons in this book. Make sure to take a break before moving on to book 3, which doesn't exist yet. So, there is no easy pill to learn Japanese. There just isn't. And my biggest problem with mnemonics is from remembering the kanji. And I think I talk a little bit about it here. Let me see if I can find remembering the kanji. Do I talk about it here? I don't think I do. Maybe it's not. No, let me see if I can. Remembering the kanji, let me just explain. Remembering the kanji is a very, very popular book. It's one of the very first books that did all of these mnemonics. But if you actually read the book, which I did, they eventually don't give you mnemonics anymore. They just give you the parts and you're supposed to make up your own, which I guess is good because I'm a fan of that. But the mnemonics that they do give you tend to be biblical. Like Job went down to the river with the baby Moses or something like that. And it's like, how is that going to help people that aren't religious? It's very religious. I think the guy was a missionary and he made this for people that obviously believe in God. So it wasn't awkward, but in a modern world where not everybody shares the same religion, learning about, it would be like if you're Christian and you're learning about kanji using Scientology, mnemonics, it's not beneficial to you. And the mnemonics were so long, they were just too long for me. Like to remember that it's the same thing with that robber thing or the kid's goat thing, right? That we just read in that video. It's just too long and complicated. What I like about mnemonics is if they're your own. And I'll give you a couple examples of mnemonics that I use. If you ever go into a Japanese elevator, okay, here I'm gonna let me open up Word. Give me a second. All right. Oh, by the way, Spanish from Zero, right there. Look at that. Spanish from Zero. This is the workbook. Let's see. Right there. Look at that. Spanish from Zero. That's not going to be the cover. We changed that character. There it is. Okay, let's open up something new. So let's look at a couple like mnemonics that really work for me. So akeru is to open and tojiru is to close, okay? They're very similar looking kanji, okay? And buttons in elevators will just have this. One will have that and one will have that. And so to open and close the door. So for me, I have a personal mnemonic that works really well. Now, this one, let's say, so the surrounding part of this kanji, okay, is mon. Okay, the radical, the bushu of this one is gate. And this is gate. And inside this one, let's say that's a picnic table, because I don't know what else I would call it. Like right here, picnic table. And that is just katakana o. So the way that I remember it is it's a common thing that I do with my brain that it might not work with your brain, is I'll remember the exact opposite thing to help me remember the thing that I want to remember. So when I want to know how to open the elevator, I know that it's the one that doesn't have the O for open. That close has the O for open. This is tojiru and this is akeru or hiraku. Okay? I don't know if you know that, by the way. It's if you do akeru and hiraku, yay, same kanji. Completely different reading. Okay? But that's how I do it. That's how I remember it. I remember the exact opposite of what it should be. That's one that I do. I can't remember any other cool thing like that, but that's a personal mnemonic that I think is really powerful. Personal mnemonics are insanely powerful because personal mnemonics have the ability to be wrong, because the sole goal of the mnemonic is for you to remember something else. So it can be like, oh my God, that looks like the beret that my first girlfriend had on our second date. And that's why that means sushi. For whatever reason, you figured it out. Like, for whatever reason, that helps you remember. But it wouldn't work in a book. So that's why I resisted mnemonics for a long time, because how can I make it personal for you? And if I give you a mnemonic, then that's forced into your brain my way of thinking that might not work for you. Although book 2 is currently filled with mnemonics. I am actually considering removing the mnemonics out of this book. The way that we did our mnemonics is we just have a section called kanji memory tools. I'm thinking of removing it. I don't know if it helps. And I'll tell you why. Because I think it adds a lot of additional things that people have to remember, that they feel like they have to remember because it's in the book. I'd rather show them how to do things and then give them a spot to write their own mnemonic if they want it. I'd rather have that be a thing. Because I looked at we have mnemonic sentences for how to write the kanji and how to remember all the readings, right? We made a bunch of multiple mnemonics in book 2, right, for kanji. But I looked for what the sentences that Kaneko came up with for mnemonics for remembering the readings, and they were all mostly bad. I didn't like them at all. Like, yeah, they did the job that she's a great teacher. She knows how to teach, but these sentences weren't beneficial to the student. It was like, it would be easier to just raw level remember the readings, honestly, than to remember the sentence that was designed as a mnemonic. If the mnemonic is more difficult than actually remembering, yeah, done wrong, is what I'm saying. Pancake Eater says you have to make your own mnemonics. Ooh, look at you agreeing. Yes. This is the idea behind WaniKani, where they do base level quality and then make your own if you want. Yeah. I mean, like stuff like sakana, for example, like you wrote here. I say, like, in one of the first videos, I say sakana fish. That's a very visual thing to remember. Suck on a fish, sakana fish, or shigoto for work, shigo to work, shigoto. They are helpful. And like the kanji for silk is like heavenly, heaven and bug. Like that's a freaking great mnemonic, right? Heaven written above bug. That's insanely good. Interesting background, George. No longer a pub. Yes. Well, what I've done in the background, Odo, if you're even still here because you wrote that 10 minutes ago, is I have a wider lens now and I got a new camera and I zoomed out to show the whole area. When I'm in the pub, you're only seeing this much. It's just the TV extension, right? And I am going to add my old camera back so I can recreate that from time to time, and I'll change cameras to go to a different location if I need to. I just got that in my head today, so yay, more work for me. What level can I reach from all the books of JPZ? Small pet peeve of mine. It's J. Okay, I want you to think how do you get JPZ? Are you going Japanese 0? What you're doing? Japanese from 0. No, it's JFZ. It's this mass thing where 30% of the people say JPZ. Japanese from 0. I don't know how you're getting that. Anyway, you would get level N4 for the Japanese language proficiency test. Based on everyone that I've seen take it and pass it and say, because of you, I got that. And I tell them it's all you. It's never because of me. I just wrote a book. I didn't like feed you the Japanese. Kanji No 2 looks like a massive book. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's a problem, man. These books are so big. They're even bigger when they're special. But the thing is, here's the thing. We're only teaching like 200 kanji in here. So you could understand, like, I'm not trying to sell you more books. I'm trying to give you good explanations about things. And it takes time. There are books that are this size that teach you every single kanji. They're actually even smaller. They're like cut like this. They're like this size. And they have like all 2,000 kanji. They give you like one little section and that's it. There's a lot of like fun stuff in here. Like I teach you in Japanese from 0 book 3, in the kanji section, I teach you how to fold an origami crane. Let's see if I can find that. See, because we have kanji in here too. Because this book progressively teaches you the first 80 kanji while you're learning the grammar, right? See, kanji of love, right? The kanji of love, we talk about love at first sight and to be conceited. We talk about like that's education about kanji in Japanese culture, right? And here we have kanji in education, right? So we're not just blindly teaching you kanji, even in book 3, which is not the full, like, it's not the full thing that we do in kanji from 0, for example. Here we talk about clothing sizes, right? Because in this book, you've learned small, big, large. And I say, even though Japanese has the kanji for big, middle, sho for sizes of clothing, they use Western conventions with a twist. They don't say large and small, but they say just the letters eru, emu, esu. And sometimes they add size after. That's just a little small section here called like little trivia facts. When I have a little bit of open space, I put that in the book. That's why I think our books are strong, because we're actually teaching you more than that. Oh, here I am teaching you about a joke you can do in these little sections. So these are some carrots, right? So here's the joke. If someone asks, "Nani jin desu ka?" What nationality are you? You can answer playfully, "Bijin," beautiful person, or "Gaikokujin," foreigner, or the funniest one, "Ninjin," carrot, which is a whole different kanji, but sound-wise it sounds the same. So if someone says, "Nani jin desu ka?" "Ninjin desu." I'm a carrot. Trust me, it can be funny. So that's why I believe, our books are actually fun. We're teaching you fun things. Let me see if I can find this. I think it's when we learn kami. Let me look it up here. Oh, by the way, this is the new style of contents with the black. I really like it. That's a new innovation. Let's see here if I can find it. And Kaneko said we should remove that, but I did not remove it. I kept it. Kanji of love, kanji of education. Like here's the sections within when you learn ear, mouth, foot, hand, and power. Is it a leg or a foot? We talk about ashi is written. Ashi can mean leg or foot. How do you distinguish it? Kanji on your body. Kanji has pictographs. New kanji counters. Phrases using te. The deep meaning of mimi ga itai. These are all kanji culture things that you learn. So you're not just learning kanji, you're also learning culture with it. Let's see if I can find that section just to show you. Because I'm really proud of that section. Oh, here's what is Tanabata, by the way, which I went to in Sendai. It's a whole festival. Because one of the kanji in Tanabata we learn, so I talk about a whole entire festival so that you can burn into your head Tanabata, right? It's the Star Festival. Why do Japanese people say Ao Shingo for green lights? This is where you learn colors, right? So we have a whole section on color-related things. I'm not trying to sell the book, I promise. I'm just really proud of what I've made here. Where is it? I did not find it. Pretty sure it was in this book. Let me just flip through and see if I can just randomly come across it. Oh, this book's so pretty. I love the little... Oh, this is a cool section that I got to update. Post-lesson commentary. I talked about students that I thought were going to be really good in Japanese and why, and then I was able to give you a 20-year update on them. That's new in this one. Okay. There's the kanji in your body. Oh, you know what? Is that maybe book 4? I don't think so. I think it was book 3. Oh, and all these graphics got updated. Our Japanese artist, Haruna, she came through and just like blew the book up with all these new graphics. Like it's drawn by a Japanese artist. No AI art in here. There's some art that I've done. But like stuff like that, really cute. I'm not saying all the clip art's gone. There's still some, like if I go back to that page, like that's kind of a clip art of curry rice. I did make some modifications, and that's like a PS8 game that I made up. But all right, I don't know if I can find it, guys, and I'm rambling at this point. I wanted to show you, but oh, was that it? Yes. So this is in Kanji Lesson 2 in Japanese from Zero Book 3, right? It's how to fold an origami crane. All because there's a type of paper called chiogami, which is different from origami. Or it's the original name of the paper used in origami. That's it. That's why it's there. And it gives you culture. And it says right here, take a break and make this origami crane. Any square paper will do. So I don't want you to just study Japanese, and I put that in the book. I want you to live Japanese, enjoy Japanese. Okay, sorry. That was a little bit of a side tangent. Okay. For open, I remember that it's kind of a torii gate, which is obvious. It's not a torii gate, but it kind of looks like that. Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, see, that works for you. Comments on the Minna no Nihongo book. I did not like it. I have it. I think I scanned it. Hang on. I have scanned every book that I own. Let me show you. Literally, my scanned books, okay? And when I say scanned, it doesn't mean I downloaded them. I do not do piracy, okay? Here's English books that I've scanned. These are books that are primarily in English. You have Japanese gestures, 500 basic Korean. And if you look at it, you can see it's an actual scan. I scanned it. I ripped the books apart and I scanned it. Okay? All of the Goosebumps books that I bought in Korean. Oh, these are the English ones. So I have English, Japanese, and what I would do is I compare them, English, Japanese, and Korean. All right, what was I going to show you? Minna no Nihongo. So that would be, I'm guessing, that might be considered an English book. Hang on, I think I have it though. Minna no Nihongo. Maybe not. Oh, there it is. Minna no Nihongo. This might not be the full book. This might be grammatical, but look at the design. I don't know. It feels dated to me and just super text heavy. But I think this is some sort of sub book of it, so I don't know. You know, but a thing that we'll do is when we teach a new word, if the word has anything weird about it at all, or something where it could be easily confused, we throw it in a section called word usage. Let me see if I can find something. Okay, so here we go. So here we have, like, for example, lesson 4, right? This is the updated book 3, not the old book 3. Old book 3 had something similar, but not as in depth, okay? Then we have word usage, right? So, and by the way, let me scrap what I was going to say. But mannaka, middle or center. We learned many location words in book 2. Mannaka was not one of them. We learned naka inside, but the meaning is different, as you can see below. And then we explain it here in the examples. And then there's something called more details, where we go even further in explaining how that's difference, right? We talk about order of description, Japanese versus English. We talk about how the way we target an object's location is reversed from Japanese, and I explain that here in these example sentences. So we give word usages. We talk about idea and kangae, and what's the difference between idea and kangae? Because they both mean idea. What's the difference? Zenbu means all, but it doesn't mean for living things, and we explain that. And then every verb that we teach, every verb without exception, gets its own verb usage section where we explain how to use the verb. We never just throw a verb to you and say, oh, you already know how to use verbs, just figure it out. No, we give you explanations for that. That's why these books are so thick. And this book is much bigger than the original Japanese from Zero, book 3. There's 440 pages. And that should be already, even though if you go to Amazon, it'll show you the old cover. This is the book being released. You should get this version with the green popsicle sticks, all right? All right. So yeah, from what I've seen from Mina no Nihongo, it feels old. Honestly, and boring to me. Maybe other books can be recommended by other people that have used them, but hear me out. You can't trust my opinion on Japanese books, because I might be lying to you. You can't trust the opinion of the guy that wrote Japanese books. You can maybe trust my opinion on German books, because I've never written a German book, right? But what if I'm lying to you? Okay. In my opinion, they're big because the presentation is very airy. I wish I knew what you were talking about. That seems interesting. It's not just walls of text, says Kevin Abroad. Oh, Kevin Abroad. Hang on. I think. Give me a second. I need to send you. Did I send that to him yet? I think. Did you get the books already or not? Could you let me know, Kevin? I believe you were one that was supposed to get them. Hang on. I think I sent to Hugo your information. Let's double check. Oh, yeah, there it is. Please send books 1, 2, and 3 here, and I gave him your address. That was on the 13th, so that's 3 days ago. You probably don't have it yet. Whoa, what's up with my background? No, don't go into no energy saving. Oh, it's the TV. TV wants to. I've been streaming for a long time, 2 hours. Okay, how to get control over pitch accent. Don't. Android, stop. If it's bothering you and messing you up, stop. It doesn't matter. Can it matter? Yes. Is it important? Maybe. I'm not selling a pitch accent course. I have no vested interest in it. But if you want to watch some videos talking about pitch accent, I would recommend Dogen is pretty good at it. He's got his own little course as well. But I would say don't. Just focus on learning way more important things than pitch accent. What might they be? When do you lengthen a word versus not lengthen a word? For example, if I say otosan versus otosan, it's two different meanings. Okasan versus okasan. Okasan means Mr. Oka. Okasan means mother. So if you don't lengthen a word in the right spot, the meaning can be different or you will be misunderstood. That has nothing to do with pitch accent. Okay. And where do you use double consonants? Right? So for example, roku means 6, but roku means rock and roll. One has a double K double consonant, roku, and the other one is roku, just 6. Those are way more impactful for you being understood in Japanese. 1,000,000 times more important. Okay. What about onyomi and kunyomi, the Japanese and the Chinese readings, right, of each kanji? Way more important than pitch accent. Because when you're speaking Japanese, there are sometimes words that are similar, okay, sound, but one starts high and goes low and the other starts low and goes high. That's pitch accent. But here's the thing. They're almost never said without context. There almost always is a conversation surrounding the word, okay? So the example I love to give, and I literally don't remember which one's which. One is hana, and the other one is hana. One starts high and goes low, and the other one starts low and goes high. One means flower and one means nose. Have you ever received noses as a present from a loved one? Have you ever went looking for a nose shop? Has blood ever flowed out of your flowers if it wasn't a Visual Kei Japanese rock band? No, blood doesn't come out of flowers, it comes out of your nose. So if you mess up and say hana, when you need to say hana, you're gonna be okay. You might just sound a little bit off, but it won't be a problem. It's not a problem. I didn't even know what pitch accent was until two white guys were talking about it on Japanese, on YouTube, trying to sell courses on it. Dogen and some other person I'm not going to mention because he's been shady in the past and I don't want to give him any boost. Because according to Dogen, every time I talk about him, he doubles his money that month. Or it's happened once in the big debate that I was talking about with this other guy. Dogen made a ton of money that month. And I don't want to support pitch accent. Okay? Don't want to support it. Not a fan of it. There's way more things to do in Japanese because you could have perfect pitch accent and not know how to say things. Like you're going to add a layer of complexity to the Japanese that doesn't, you know what? Hear me out. I'm going to show you something though. I'm going to show you something that's funny. Here, give me a second. It's me looking like I'm pro pitch accent. Hang on. Give me a second. I got to find it. When was this? It's a while back when I had like a bunch of videos I was making. Oh, here we go. It's called, Did I Introduce Japanese Pitch Accent 22 years ago? Here, let's watch this. But I want you to imagine my surprise when I realized I am probably the first guy in the Japanese learning space to talk about pitch accent. We all know that there is controversy with me and pitch accent. So I made a video. I threw out this volley towards all these pitch accent people, and it was called Pitch Accent is Dumb or Pitch Accent is Stupid, Change My Mind. Has anyone in Japan ever brought up pitch accents to you in casual conversation? Never, not even in advanced conversation. Your Japanese friend who told you that pitch accent is very important for Japanese? Retro Nick, I grew up in Japan. Sorry, I never heard about it. I watched Dogen and this other girl and even Amo Misa talking about pitch accent. And the more I watch, the more I think it's stupid. It's adding a layer of complexity that even Japanese people don't know. I don't think it helps. The only people that are gonna get very, very bad pitch accent are people that never ever listened to Japanese or never heard a native speaker say it when they were learning. And I basically said, it's so dumb to focus on pitch accent when there's so many other things you need to learn. If you mess up pitch accent 99% of the time, it's not a problem because of context. This is my thought process. So I had that video, then Matt versus Japan made a video
where he refuted it, saying George is wrong.
Before we jump into analyzing the arguments that George made, I actually want to take a look at a video of him speaking Japanese and point out to you guys exactly what level George's pitch accent is at. Now, I know this is going to seem like I'm just attacking George or being kind of mean, but it's actually going to be really important for the argument that I'm going to make later on. So here I have George's Ego Egg channel. This is his YouTube channel that is targeted at a Japanese audience, and he makes videos about learning English. And so let's just take a look at the newest video on this channel, which is from 2 years ago. I guess he doesn't really post this anymore. So I'm just going to point out whenever I personally notice a pitch accent mistake.
お久しぶりです。以前のビデオをアップロードしてからなんと10ヶ月経っています。そのビデオも最近のビデオではなかった。その時10ヶ月前のビデオじゃなかった。多分2年ぐらい前のビデオだったんですけど、見つけてアップロードしました。今日は特別生放送。
Now I want to say something here. Not in defense of myself, but in defense of not hitting the pitch accent, right? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. There is no other word. Tokubetsu, tokubetsu, tokubetsu. There's no other word. Every word that I messed up pitch accent according to Matt or whatever Japanese friend analyzed it for him. Not saying he couldn't analyze it because I think he can, but I'm just throwing a little bit of shade. They would... Toki. There's no other thing that could mean. Having the perfect pitch accent just makes you sound a little bit better. But the return on investment is so bad for the amount of time you have to put into it. Now, could you do a little bit of study of pitch accent? I think you could, sure. But do you need to like add pitch accent onto every word the way that Chinese adds tone under their words? Absolutely not. But I'm going to keep going because I don't want to, if I really was embarrassed by this, I would not have released this in a video. I am not embarrassed by this, and I'm not ignorant to it. I'm aware that sometimes my pitch accent isn't right, but I also grew up in Japan, and I grew up in the northern part of Japan, and until I started meeting a bunch of people from Tokyo, literally every word I said had wrong pitch accent. Because it's different in different parts of the country. If you go to Osaka, they flip things from Tokyo. So you might learn perfect pitch accent only to have to learn a different way or hear it different. You're going to think everyone in Osaka is wrong because they're flipping hana and hana when they say it differently because it's a different pitch accent, right? So is there pitch accent in Japan? Yeah. Does it matter? No. Let's go back. Let's finish. I don't want to take away from what Matt was saying, although I already did.
新しいシリーズをこのチャンネルでやりたいと思います。このチャンネルは、これから復活させたいと思います。
Now, I'm sorry, I just thought of something new. I've never learned pitch accent. And even though he's found out of the hundreds of words that I just said, 10, maybe? How many were there? 5. How many he gets to, I don't know, 8. Look at how good my pitch accent is every single where else, right? Without ever missing a beat and never learning pitch accent, I somehow learned pitch accent because I'm repeating things. Now, what's happening? What's happening when I mess up pitch accent? Is it that I don't know the pitch accent, or is it that I'm concentrating really hard on speaking Japanese to a Japanese audience to make sure that I'm saying the right words in the right order and not messing it up, like I am right now in English? Right? So think about that. How happy would you be to speak the level of Japanese that I am right there and make 8 or so little slight accent errors? Because everything else that I'm saying is years of work to get to that level, right? I'm not trying to be defensive. I know it looks like it, but it pisses me off when people take away from the learning process and make it more difficult by making you learn these things that you don't need to learn right away. If you want to get pretty good in Japanese and then say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and brush up my Japanese and make it sound really, really like native because I can't handle being ever perfect. And I have to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everything I say sounds exactly like a Japanese person so you could never hear that as a foreigner. Go ahead, but you're going to be stressed 99% of the time, in my opinion. You're going to constantly be in fear of making mistakes. When the number one thing you need to do when speaking Japanese is be okay making mistakes. And if you think that Japanese people are going to have a problem with your pitch accent, you are wrong. Not one of them will, and I can prove it to you. How many people do you know from like Mexico that speak with a Mexican accent, with a Spanish accent, or Russia or Chinese, and you think it's cute and it doesn't bother you at all? How many really famous people like that woman on Modern Family, that really hot woman that's married to the guy that played Al Bundy on Married with Children? I don't know her name, Sophia something, whatever, I don't remember. But her English has bad accent, and it's great, it's cute, it's attractive. And I remember more than once, when I was talking to girls, actually I remember one particular time, I said something and I said Nayatsu or something like that. I said blah 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 Nayatsu, and I just remember the girl went Nayatsu, like she mocked me. One time it happened, and I was like, but they were laughing about it. It wasn't a big deal. That's one time in like 30 years I can remember ever being called out on me, and I still don't even know what I did wrong because I don't have a recording of it, right? But I will tell you, when I have had misunderstandings with Japanese people, it's never once in the history. There's one time, and I'll tell you about it. Exception of this one time, I've never had a problem with pitch accent. Oh, you know what? That wasn't even a pitch accent problem. I'll tell you what it was. Sorry, there was a time where I was interpreting. I had a client that I had a contract with, and every email came through me, and I translated it into Japanese, and then their Japanese I translated back into English, right? And there's this word shio, and shio means usage or specification. It can mean both, but it's a different kanji. And I don't even know if it has a different pitch accent, to be honest. But I was translating specification wrong. I was using the wrong kanji. I was using usage. So when the Japanese people were asking, what are the specs of this device? They wanted to know like how many decibels or how many like voltage and current in the chip that they were talking about. That's what they were asking. I was translating it as, what's the usage of this device? Which is a completely different question, but it's the same word. In spoken, in hearing, it's the same word. So I would say, what is the usage of this? And the American guy was like, what do you mean what's the usage? It's for this. And then the Japanese people were like, what do you mean? Why is he telling us the usage? We want it on the spec. And that went back and forth for like a week until I realized what I was doing wrong. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I used the wrong word. And even then, it wasn't a big deal. And that's a huge, huge mistake for an interpreter to make compared to, oh, I said shio when it needed to be shio. It doesn't matter. Okay? All right, let's finish.
英語生分析という番組になります。以前は日本語で何回かやっています。
So I'm going to stop it right there. That was just over 30 seconds of George speaking Japanese, and I wasn't counting as I'm going, but I'll put the number on the screen. So just keep in mind how many pitch accent mistakes.
I want to go back. I think also if you look at it, every pitch accent mistake that I'm making is probably in the beginning of the sentence where I'm putting a specific, like a style on what I'm saying, right? Let's go back. I'm curious. I just now realized it. Let me see if that, let's see here. Here we go. Izen, right? I'm saying like izen right here in the beginning of the sentence. If I doubt we're going to see, I'm guessing, pitch accent mistakes in the middle of a sentence because I'm in flow mode. In the beginning, I'm formulating a thought and I'm saying the thought. Okay, let's go back.
Out whenever I personally notice a pitch accent mistake.
お久しぶりです。以前のビデオをアップロードしてからなんと10ヶ月経っています。そのビデオも最近のビデオではなかった。その時10ヶ月前のビデオじゃなかった。多分2年ぐらい前のビデオだったんですけど、見つけてアップロードしました。今日は特別生放送で。
You know what? It's the first time I realized it's where I'm saying things for effect and pausing that I'm getting the wrong pitch accent. Now I'm debating, would Japanese people do the same thing? Maybe. Tokubetsu. Maybe they do it. I don't know. This debate again. This debate always gets good views, guys.
で、
新しいしたいと思います。やってい
I wasn't counting as I'm going, but I'll put the number on the screen. So just keep in mind how many pitch accent mistakes George made within about 30 seconds of speaking Japanese off the cuff.
And then there was a meeting of the minds, and we both got together and we talked about it. I'm George Trombley, and I made a video the other day called Pitch Accent is Stupid, Changed My Mind. Then Matt made a response called George is Wrong, and the summary of my entire argument was basically pitch accent is stupid, which is what I said, which I came out a little bit strong, I would say. But the idea was, for me personally, at that very moment, I thought it's too much for a beginner and it's too complicated. We'll see how I feel today after this debate. I'll let Matt introduce himself and then I'll set up how we're going to make this go that me and Matt have already agreed to. So go ahead, Matt.
I'm Matt, for any of you guys who don't know me, like George said. I'm amazing at Japanese. My pitch is flawless. George messaged me all the time how he's really jealous of me, but I think pitch accent is pretty important. And I think,
for the record, he was being funny. He's not that conceited. He might think that in his head, but here he was being funny.
That all Japanese learners who are even remotely serious about learning the Japanese language should expose themselves to some pitch accent study to at least some degree. And by the way, I don't have flawless pitch accent, by the way. That was a joke.
Okay.
Please don't hold me to that.
Good. He's very humble, for the record. Very humble man.
Yeah, I mean, probably the most humble out of all the Japanese content creators on YouTube.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
And then after that, I made another video where I looked at a Japanese linguist talking about it, and it was fascinating, and I learned a bunch there. I've been teaching Japanese now for about 25 years. And in those 25 years, I had never heard of something called pitch accent. It had never come up. If you add on pitch accent to a language where it really hasn't ever been a focus on, at least in my entire life of learning, if you add that to the language learning component, the chances of you quitting Japanese due to the frustration of kanji, lengthening, double consonants, double vowels, hiragana, katakana, verb conjugation, words, whether they're onyomi or kunyomi, these are so many more things that you have to learn about. Now, to add on top of that, you're going to add on that this pitch accent component. The chances of you giving up because it's just too hard are high, and that's something that I want to avoid. There was this website, and I started clicking around. I ended up going to their Facebook page, and I started watching this video right here. So here he's explaining what pitch accent is to a Japanese audience, and he specifies that he's not a teacher of Japanese, but he is a scientist involved in the study of Japanese accent and linguistic related things. And I have to really say, the final thing is it's not dumb, but it's not worth it to learn it so early on is what I feel like right now. But I want you to imagine my surprise. Here we go. When I realized I am probably the first guy in the Japanese learning space to talk about pitch accent. What? Me? George Trombley, the guy that only a few years ago said pitch accent is dumb. And I'm on record saying I didn't know anything about pitch accent until I had you guys ask me what I think about it. And then I learned about Dogen and I learned about Matt versus Japan. And I went and watched some of their videos. And Matt, by the way, makes brilliant videos. I think Dogen's a brilliant creator as well. I disagree with their focus on pitch accent. It seems a little bit making a problem and then selling the solution is what it feels like to me. It would be like me hyper evangelizing that Japanese verbs have this magical property that we need to really figure out, and I have a solution. You can buy my course. Here's the thing. I released a video the other day, which was the 10th video in the George and Keiko series. It was a rework. It's called Techniques to Sound Better in Japanese. And one of the very first things I talk about is what I called whispered sounds. And me and Keiko talk about how you don't flatly say a sound. And we talk about there being an envelope. And I talk about how when I edited sounds, I would see that there would be a small part of the sound going into a larger part of the sound. Whispered sounds. Mimi uchi shita oto. Although Japanese is a, I, u, e, o, ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Some words, if you don't pronounce the first portion, 最初の部分をあんましはっきり言わないと it sounds really good. すごくよく聞こえるやつなんですよ。For example, 例えばお母さん、これはお母さんじゃないですね。It's お母さん。The O is very quiet. I realized the whispered sounds while cutting sounds for YesJapan.com. I noticed that some sounds, when we take a sound, we cut it,
and then you enlarge the size of the sound, you do the volume increase, and I noticed that some sounds were just very minuscule, very minuscule. ね、音を切るときにたまにはその例えば、お母さんだったらお母さんになってるんですよね。
ああ、そうだね。山がちゃんとこう。
そう。So if you want to say お母さん、お父さん、恵子さん言ってください。
お母さん、お父さん、お兄さん、お姉さん、妹、弟。はい、
O はほとんど消えてる場合がありますね。
そうなんだね。じゃあちょっと小さめに言ったら聞こえるってこと？
そうなの。
I was talking about and recommending that people pay attention to pitch accent. How crazy is that? In 2002, 22 official years ago, this man right here was telling you about pitch accent, but did not understand that that's what it was. I had no idea what it was. And only the other day did I realize it. Now, I want you to know, I actually, when I realized it, reached out to Matt versus Japan. I sent him a message on Discord. I said, hey, man, I really think you need to watch this video with me. I didn't want to tell him what it was. I wanted him to tell me, bro, you're talking about pitch accent. That's what I wanted. I sent him multiple messages, zero response. What happened to Matt versus Japan? Where is this guy? This guy who really makes great videos has... All right. Anyway. So that's how I have this mixed past with pitch accent. Apparently I knew what it was and then I forgot what it was, and that's just what happens. Okay. Whew. Okay. Where am I? It's not worth to learn pitch accent in the first 10 years of studying. Vito, you got it. I think you nailed it. Eva Longoria. She's like, when people have accents, even if their pitch accent's wrong, sometimes it's very cute. I want to point out, except for German. I just want to point that out. German English accent is horrible. I'm just saying. It's the truth. It's a fact. I've proven it. Never met a German accent, English accent. I think German people need to study English accent properly. That's all I'm saying. Oh, you can hate me all you want. It's the truth. I wrote it in a book somewhere. That makes it true. I kid. That's why I think it's very telling of someone to think an accent makes them something negative somehow. Steve Krashen has an amazing story and perspective on accent. He tells Matt versus Japan in their interview, the person that needs to hear it the most. Wow, I did not know that. Did Matt not hear that? The best thing I ever saw, and it's now a mantra of mine, is there was some lady doing a TED Talk about a factory in Malaysia. I think it was Malaysia. And they had an English speaker, relatively good English speaker, who had great English accent, trying to explain the machine to them or whatever was happening in the factory. And the English was so good, but there was nothing coming out of her mouth that made them understand what the machine was. And then one of the old factory men was like, this machine do this thing. In really bad English, she said it, right? And they all go, oh, this machine, cut the paper, do the thing, fold and cut and fold. Whatever he said, whatever. I don't remember this literally at all. I have just a concept in my head. And then she said, that's when she realized, and you'll hear me say it as if I invented it, but I did not. I got it from this TED Talk. She says, language is not an art to master. It is a tool for communicating. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard said that makes me realize that's been my concept the whole time. Stop worrying about being perfect. Don't worry about breaking the rules. Just speak, because that's what everyone does that has succeeded in Japanese, in my opinion. They're okay being embarrassed. They're okay making mistakes. Think about it. You have to make mistakes to learn. What have you ever learned where you didn't make mistakes? Well, if you're trying to be perfect, it means less usage because you're too afraid to make a mistake. Do you think you would have ever gotten married or made a girlfriend if every approach you made to a girl was perfect? No, you'd be single. You'd be celibate. If you're still celibate and you're a relatively okay looking guy, you need to approach more girls. And you need to mess it up a few times. Sometimes the approach that you make to a person can be so bad that it makes the friendship work. I'm going to tell a story that I've told multiple times again about me making a huge mistake in Korean, leading to one of my best friends in the world who I love more than you can believe in Korea. It's the girl that picked me up at the airport that I talked about earlier. I was on a website called interpals.net. It is a trashy website. Don't go there now. I don't even know if it exists anymore, but I personally think it's not good, okay? But it was at the time the only thing. And I, in my desire to talk to cute Korean girls, found like 16 different cute Korean girls, and I wrote messages to them saying, hey, I'm learning Korean and I'd like to make some friends. Will you help me be my friend? Thank you, George. The problem is, my name is Joji in Korean. Okay, it's Jo and a G. But I accidentally, because it's just a flip of the, so Jo goes like this and Ja goes like that. So I wrote Jaji as my name, which means penis in Korean. So I said, hello, my name is Penis. I'm looking for friends because I'm studying Korean. Are you thinking you could be my friend? Thank you, Penis. That's what my note said. 16 people got that message, and I typed it. I hand typed it every time. I didn't even cut and paste. I literally made that mistake 32 times because I was hand typing it in the beginning and the end. Nobody responded. 15 people flat out ignored me, except for Gao Yong, who said, do you know what that means? It's like, oh, I see. Oh, yeah, it's Jaji. Oh, yeah, that's like saying penis. That led to my best friend in Korea. Every time I go to Korea, I don't go to Korea. Do you know that I don't go to Korea? I go to see Gao Yong in the country that she lives in, and it happens to be Korea. That's how much I like Gao Yong. And we sing karaoke, we eat, we walk around town, we go to bookstores. She's amazing. All because I messed up. And trust me, if I really think about it, I'm sure I have other examples where a mistake in a word made a memory with a person that endeared me to them. And I don't know how she explains who I am to people, but I wouldn't be surprised if she said, there's a man that's one of my great friends that called himself a penis when he first met me. What if I never made that mistake? Be another one of 15 people talking to her. All right. So you got to make mistakes. If you're trying to be perfect, I just don't think, how can you improve something you're not even trying to do, you know? Because you're trying to be perfect. All right. Oro says, man, I still remember messing up. Okay, good one. Messing up ippai, which means one drink or a lot, versus oppai, a very easy mistake. Oppai means breasts. And you said it in front of your Japanese teacher. That mistake helped me memorize the difference for life. It was so embarrassing and yet helped, and it was so helpful to make such a mistake. I have a whole video that me and Kanako did where I had people submit their Japanese mistakes, and how it changed their life for the better. Let me see if I can find that just to show you, just so you can watch it. I think it was under a video with the name Mustard in it. Give me a second. If I just look up Mustard, hopefully that video is still online. I actually go back. I have to, okay, here you go. Are you a bad mustard? This one right here. This video right here is all about mistakes. Mistakes are one of the best ways to learn Japanese. Avoiding mistakes is everyone's goals, but let's embrace the mistakes and improve our Japanese speaking. I'll just show you a little bit of the video so you get the premise. Hey everybody, it's George Tromdy, Japanese from Zero, and we are doing a Japanese daily where we talk about important mistakes in your learning process that teach you things. Today's mistakes are going to be covered with me, with Kanako Sensei. Thank you, Kanako Sensei. Where are you right now? Somewhere in Japan, right?
もちです。もちです。
Kanako's in Japan, and I am here in Las Vegas, and we're going to be going through the big mistake, one of the biggest mistakes that people make right away in Japanese. It's a big one. I'm sure anyone that studied Japanese for more than a day has heard people make this mistake. さあ、行きましょう。
行きましょう。
今日のトピックは、聞き間違い、言い間違い。Today's mistake, today's topic is hearing things wrong and saying them wrong. So let's read the first one from James Martin, probably the younger brother of Steve Martin. One time when I was first dating my girlfriend, she's my wife now, thank God that worked out for you, I was feeling a bit down about myself, and I wanted to say, I am a boring boyfriend, which, by the way, you shouldn't ever say anyway. 私はつまらない彼氏. However, what I actually said was 私はつまらない彼氏, which roughly translates to I am a boring mustard. Of course, when I said this, she immediately started to laugh at my mistake, and since then I can never forget these two words. Now, I'll tell you, I don't know if I tell this story, but I've been married now for 30 years, okay? As of December, 30 years to this beautiful woman who wrote all these books with me, who has been on this journey with me. And when I was writing her love letters, I know it's crazy, right? But before there was an internet, I was dating her. And she lived in Japan, so I'd have to write her letters. And I was talking about like something, and I wrote, there are no perfect humans. I wrote that and I wrote it big on the paper. So I said, "Kampeki na," and now the phrase should be, "Kampeki na ningen ga inai." Okay, hang on. Let me pull back word. Let's show it to you. All right, here's what I wrote, okay? I wrote, "Kampeki na ningen ga inai." Because I was explaining something that I did and I felt bad about it, but I said, I'm not going to feel bad about it because there's no such thing as a perfect human being. That's what I wrote. That's what I intended to write. But what I wrote was this. I just missed this right here. I missed that. Nimon, I don't think is actually a word, but it's a perfect word to mess up in saying there's no such thing as a perfect human, saying there's no such thing as a person gate, or there's no such thing as a perfect person gate. I don't think I've ever looked this up. Like there is one that's Numon. Okay, hang on. Let's see, gshow.org. Nimon, let's see if Nimon comes up. It doesn't. But Numon does come up. If you look up New, it looks similar. A little bit similar. Becoming a pupil. Well, I didn't write Numon. I wrote Nimon. And so until this day, my wife will say, "Kampeki na Nimon ga inai desu mon ne?" Till this day. These mistakes are they're the fabric of your story, man. Like I'm still telling this I'm a penis story about Korea 14 years later after learning Korean. It's part of my story. I told this story in Korean all the time and they freaking love it. It makes me an interesting person, you know? This Nimon story too, it's funny. So don't be afraid of mistakes. Matter of fact, I talk about this in one video, but when you learn Japanese, you need to imagine you have a card, okay? And this card has a space for like 1,000 stamps. And for you to be fluent in Japanese, you need to have 1,000 stamps on there. And the card is called My Mistakes. And 1,000 mistakes makes you fluent. If you thought that way, you'd be happy every time you'd made mistakes. Because there isn't really a card that has that, but really that's what's happening. 1,000 mistakes means you probably said 10,000 things in Japanese. Or 100,000 things in Japanese, right? Just like in the example where I'm speaking for however long it was when Matt was looking at me, I made 8 mistakes. Guess what? No Japanese person on earth would misunderstood anything that I said, right? Even though I made those mistakes. And maybe, just maybe one of those mistakes would be funny, right? And I'd have a story to tell about it. All right. How do you develop a natural Japanese accent? Usage, mimicking, shadowing is a good one. So you go here, let me show you shadowing. Let's go back to that channel, Tamayura Gakuen, because I have permission to use their stuff because I reached out to them. Let's see, Tamayura Gakuen. Okay, let's go back to their channel. So here's what you do. Okay. All right, let's.
ニアちゃんのグラビアを堪能してあげたいってことで。
堪能してあげたい。
リナちゃんっていうのは他でもないね。
リナちゃんっていう他のでもない。僕の彼女のリナちゃんなんですけど、you shadow. again and again. Go back to the same thing again.
りなちゃんのグラビアを
Rina-chan no grabia o. And so when you start shadowing, you'll start noticing patterns. Like, oh, sorry, stuff over here. You start noticing patterns, right? Like that Japanese, when they pause, it's after a particle, typically. They don't pause in the middle of a word. Let's go to another video. Hang on. Another video. Let's see one here. Another one where he's talking. He's smart. He always puts her on the thumbnail, so you click it.
どうもはい、ということは今日なんですけど。
はい、ということは今日なんですけど。
はい。
僕たちカップルね。
僕たちカップルね。Us, you know, the couple.
カップルじゃないです、私たち。
カップルじゃないです、私たち。Like, see the intonations that she's making? That's how you get good at Japanese accent. You duplicate, you replicate what they're saying. That is one of the best ways to do it. And obviously hearing it a lot helps too. When I try to speak Japanese, it sounds really off and it doesn't feel right. Kind of cringe, honestly. Does that accent come mainly from practice? You know, Martin, your older self will always look back and see cringe. Like when we were watching that George and Keiko show just now, it's cringy to me because my Japanese is better now. You know, if we go and we look at George Trombley speaking Japanese, give me a second. Let's go back and look at the cringe Japanese that I spoke. If I can find, here is it, Keiko. Let's see if I can find this. Okay, here we go. So let's see. I'm gonna find out one where we're actually speaking Japanese. Okay, first of all, every time I go, yay, that's cringy to me. That's cringe, just that alone.
はい。バスガス爆発。
バスガス爆発する。あれ？するがないんですね。
ないですね。
じゃあもう一回。
これ3回言うんですね。
3回、はい。
バスガス爆発。バスガスがあら
？I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show her off.
You know what? Actually, one of the very first videos that we did in Japanese from Zero on this channel. It wasn't on this channel. It used to be on the website. YouTube didn't exist when I first made these videos. These videos were released on our website. I say this is a watch. It's Tokei, right? But I said Tokei. I lengthened it, and every time I see it, I go, "Oh my god!" I go, "Oh, Tokei ga nai desu ne." Like my accent is so bad, and I lengthened it, and I hate it. But you know what? I never took down the video. No one's ever called me out on it, and I'm looking and I'm going, Tokei ga nai desu ne. And even a Japanese person, even with that bad of a mistake, they would understand it. Because Tokei, lengthened, means statistics, like data statistics. Here, I'll show you. So if I look up Toukei, right? Statistics. Get rid of the lengthener, Tokei, right? And if we go to Google, and we write Tokei, hang on, Tokei, where is it? Data Tokei. Data Tokei. Is that it? Is that what it is? Yeah, okay.
Tokei.
Okay, and then we hear Tokei.
Tokei dokei.
Oh my God, that's a statistic clock. We have to put a period there because it puts it together. It's doing the rendaku rule where it's adding the do.
Tokei.
Tokei. You hear that? It's completely different. Tokei. Right? And I made that mistake in a video. It's cringe. You're always going to feel that way. But rest assured, if you want to get good in Japanese, you need the cringe period. You need it. You have to have a bad accent before you speak good, before you speak well. You need that. Every Japanese person has bad accent. Every Korean person has bad accent until they use it a lot. Okay, it's part of the process. You know. It like imagine a baby looking back when they first start walking and going, "Oh my God, what was I doing? Why? Oh my God, why am I putting my hand on the table?" Just balance yourself, baby. Oh, look at me. I bumped into oh my God, that's embarrassing. No one thinks that. People think it's cute, right? When babies mess up, we think it's cute. When you first start learning Japanese, you're a baby in Japanese. You're gonna be fine. Trust me, it's cute. I will laugh at you. I will think you're cute. Okay? It will endear me to you. It's impressive when you are like absolutely perfect. It is impressive. But it's a parlor trick, you know? Kevin Abroad says, it's kind of like mixing up review and the verb review. The noun that where it isn't stressed on the same syllable. Hang on. Let's review this. Oh, a movie review. Movie review. Review. Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's a better one. Record and record. Record and record. Oh, here's my new record. Wait, what is it? Oh, I'm sorry, record. It's a record. And what about read and read? I read books. I read a book. I read books when I was younger. I read books now as well. How do you know when it's read and read? You know, you have to make the mistake a few times. Someone's giving advice. Listen to natives. Your ear will pick up on how to pronounce things. And that's why I don't like to put the study in. Trying to learn pitch accent without trying to learn to force the learning of pitch accent. It's like learning how to drive well without ever driving a car. In my mind, I feel like maybe that's a bad statement, because if you're learning pitch accent while you're using it, you'll definitely have an awareness of it, which is good. Like if you want to have a great accent, maybe just being aware is good. But I just think it's not worth the return on investment's bad. I'm about to finish Japanese from 03, chapter 9. When are the videos coming out for book 5? Maybe might get there soon. I tried using HelloTalk, but it's hard getting people to respond. Any tips? I want Japanese friends. Okay, let's talk about getting people to respond on HelloTalk. These people are on HelloTalk because they want to meet friends, but everyone they talk to says the same things. You have to give them a hook that no one else does. I'm going to give you a hook right now. Okay, I'm going to give it to you. Okay, here it is. I've given this before, but it's a good hook. All right, so right away you say something like, 変な質問してもいいですか? Can I ask a strange question? And they'll be like, oh, hi, いいですよ. I assume most people will be like, yeah, sure. Then you'll say, あなたの弱点は何ですか? No one's ever asked them that. What's your jakuten? No one's ever asked them that. You're gonna get good responses. Maybe I need to do that once on HelloTalk and show you, without doxing anybody. But ask questions that no one else asks. Right? Like or another thing, like I read this in a book on CIA informants. How they get CIA informants and how to get people to like you. One thing that you do is you ask for small favors. Now, the problem with HelloTalk is people are always asking favors like correct my Japanese. But one thing you could do is purposely make a mistake. What? Yeah, purposely make a mistake. Like konnichiwa, right? Say like konnichiwa instead of konnichiwa, but make it like kodomo and nichi. Wa and si, or even wa. Like, first of all, this is completely, this meaning is also baloney. But imagine you made that dumb of a mistake and just maybe they'll help you. It's like if you want an answer on the internet, you give the wrong, you give wrong information, right? It's like that. Maybe on purpose you make a mistake. You do anything to be not the same guy who has a great introduction and then all he wants to do is date you, right? Also, another hint, this is a big one, and I've used it to my advantage very, very well. Talk to people that don't have their face for an avatar. People without their face for an avatar, they're the ones that really want friends, but they're not confident in their looks, right? Maybe they're overweight, maybe they're old, but they will talk to you because no one else is talking to them, because people on HelloTalk are constantly looking for the hot girl or the hot guy. There. Also, maybe don't put your own picture up there. Or look for people that have their pets up there. And then if they have a cat or a dog, say, 犬が可愛いですね。名前は何ですか? The dog is cute. What's the name? So you start up with unconventional things and you will start making more actual friends that don't ghost you. If they ghost you, don't take it personal. I want you to imagine they're on a whole nother planet and they're dealing with all of the things in their life. And you're just one more thing causing them stress because you're speaking bad Japanese or English that they're and they think about how many times you've given up on Japanese or not studied Japanese. They're doing the same thing in English. So until you make an actual connection with a person, you're going to get ghosted all the time. But I have met countless people that said they met their wives on Hello Talk, or these other apps where you can meet people that aren't necessarily dating apps. You just got to talk to people. And my only suggestion is what I just said, just come in with a little bit unconventional things. What's the difference between kantan and tanjun? Very, very good question. Kantan means easy. Tanjun means simple. Okay? Tanjun means not complicated. But something that's kantan, kantan could be easy for you. It's complicated, but for me, it's kantan. But tanjun means it's simple. It's a simple process. Sugoi tanjun desu. It's very basic. That's the difference. If someone asks you, is it difficult? And it's not, you're going to say kantan. If you say, is this motor complicated? The design of, no, tanjun. It's just a couple gears. It's very tanjun, very simple. And I bet if we threw them into Google Translate, I wonder if it would say easy and simple. Yeah. Right? There it is. Even though it's the same tan, which is like, it means individual unit, I believe. Yeah, single. So like you have, let's see, is itang? No, wait. Itang? Am I thinking Korean right now? That's Korean. I think that's Korean. Tannaru, justa. That's another way to say just. Tannaru. Yeah. Tannaru, right? It's just tannaru yujin, tannaru tomodachi, just a friend. Tannaru joku, just a joke, right? See, here we are, by the way, watch this. That's what we were talking about earlier. The thing you're gonna learn as you learn Japanese is there's like 7 ways to say the same thing in Japanese. Tannaru joke desu yo. Joke dake desu. Joke na dake desu yo. Joke ni suginai. Tada no joke desu. Right? Oh, no, I was gonna say, yeah. I was gonna do something else, but I don't think it would make sense here. So yeah. Welcome to Japanese. By the way, the differences between these things, it'll be something like this is N5. This is N2, and this is N1 Japanese way to say just. This is for limited occasions. One thing my Korean teacher said to me that I hold dear to my heart to this day is we were learning TOPIK level 5 grammar, okay? Really high up grammar. And we'd already learned a way to say this thing back in like book 2, like in level 2, the lower level, because I think in Korean it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes up to the higher levels. And so she said, which grammar do you think is more important? The one we're learning in the advanced class or the one we learned in the first class? And the way she asked it, I already knew the answer was not what you would think you would say. It's the lower level grammar. And then she explained it. It's the lower level grammar. I was like, okay. Because that is the more broad use grammar. That tannaru joke has more nuance to it. And the higher level stuff that you learn has more nuance, okay? You can say 7 different sentences in Japanese that all translate to the exact same thing, but because of a slight twist of the word that they use, now it shows regret, or it shows unintentional you doing of that act. I ate a cake. Could be I ate a cake unintentionally. It wasn't my regrettably I ate a cake, you know. In the end, I ended up eating the cake. Like, but in English, it's all just I ate the cake, you know. So that happens. That's why you keep studying. That's why you keep using Japanese in various situations. And then there'll be a lot of grammar as you get into Japanese where you won't know why you use it in certain, you won't be able to explain it, you know. And I know this because writing textbooks made me really think about, well, why am I using it there? Oh, because I'm regretting it, or because I have I unintentionally did it. That's why you say that, right? Why wouldn't I just say this? Well, because let me think. Every time I've ever used it or heard it, oh, I see a pattern. And that's how I write grammar. I was like, well, here's the rule that I think it is based on my experience. And then my wife will try to break it, or I'll try to break it, or they'll tell me if I'm right or wrong. And I'll go, wait, but what about this case? What about this case? And you push it. All right. Let me get to the end of these comments and then I'm going to go and ring out a voice. I invented pitch accent. My only mistake was I didn't monetize it. Pitch accent is a thing though, for real. In Japanese, it's called kote accento. And I have books on it, which I have read. So and that's why, by the way, I know that what they're regurgitating about pitch accent, some of these people, they read the same book. Because like what looks like genius things that they came up with was in this book that I read. How you can hum the accent, you can hear it. Like, oh, they didn't invent that. It's in the book that I read from NHK. Hey, George, will you ever be willing to learn Hindi? No, not really. Not yet. Not yet. You know why? Because I don't want to go to India. I'm not like interested in going to India. That's probably the biggest reason why. It just seems too chaotic for me. Every Indian person that I've met personally is really awesome. But I don't think I would do well in India. Maybe certain areas are great, but I have a very biased view of India. And so that for me to learn a language, step one is I have to want to go to that country, and I don't want to go to India. Step two, I have to think the girls are super cute. Do I think Hindi girls are cute? Yes, I've seen some very cute ones, but not enough to learn a language. That's just me being very honest. One best friend is better than 15 temporary friends. True, but it is nice to get practice with those 15 temporaries. My name is Bairem. Yes, with an M. Bairem. I just have chosen my ateji, which is Buraiamu. Yep, you have it there. So curiously Googled it and it shows that it's a badass way to write Doraemon. Could be, but probably Chinese. I've never seen it before. Could be. I know that you, in Japan, you usually introduce yourself with your last name. Oh, I don't. I never do. No, I don't go Trombri desu. Japanese do, but I'm American. I'd say Joji. I say Joji desu. So I would say you should do that as well. Just say your first name. You don't say your last name. You're not Japanese. Be whatever your country is and learn how to speak Japanese. But if you don't say, you're not Trombley, you don't want them to call you Trombley or Richardson, give them your first name. Yeah, you're Poru. You're Poru. And hear me out. Japanese people are used to that. They don't think Americans introduce themselves by their last name. I know there's the whole when in Rome, do as Romans do. But in this case, you're Paul. You're telling them what to call you. So go with that. Montvidas says, Japanese or Korean more difficult? Which to learn first? They are both. I want you to imagine 7 blocks of different height. But when you add them all together and divide them by 7, it's the same number. That's Japanese and Korean. So some blocks are really tall, meaning difficult, and some are very easy, right? But all together, there's a certain level of difficulty. Korean and Japanese are the same level of difficulty, okay? I would say just a little bit of an edge. Maybe Japanese could be a little bit more difficult. And I'll explain why. For Japanese, accent is very easy. Not pitch accent, but speaking it normally is easy. If we add pitch accent to it, yeah, Japanese is a harder language. Let's go with that. But Japanese is very easy to speak accent-wise because it's just a, I, U, E, O. But Korean has a, o, o. They have they have a vowel that we don't have in English really, and it's in between a and o. So it's like a, o, o, and it's hard. And so that makes Korean hard. And the way that they conjugate things does a lot of conversion things that are difficult. Let me just say that. But the writing is way easier, way, way easier because they have Hangul. And Hangul is like just their own phonetic system to replace what they used to have kanji. So that makes Japanese harder, right? But accent's harder in Korean. And there's other things, but I would say they're fairly equal. Learn the language that you love the most first. For me, it's Japanese. If I recommend that, I would say learn Japanese first, although the kanji makes it harder. Even Koreans, when they learn Japanese, hate learning the kanji. But when you know the kanji in Japanese, it makes learning Korean easier because the grammar is similar already, but now you can just learn different readings of the kanji, because even though they don't use kanji now, they used to. And if you start learning the way Koreans, there's like a Chinese reading and a Japanese reading for kanji. Well, there's a Korean reading and a Korean Chinese reading. Their version is a little bit different of kanji. And all you do is like learn different readings, and they're often relatively close sometimes. At least the Chinese reading is. The ilki is what they call it in Korean for onyomi. For example, let me give you that example. For example, ongaku is music, right? It's written with sound and joy. Ongaku. In Korean, the kanji for oto, right, which is in Japanese, oto is the Japanese reading and on is the Chinese reading. In Korean, sori is the Korean reading and is the Chinese reading. And on. See how they're similar? Now take it one step further. Chinese is the reading is yin, right? Yin, on. All kind of similar, right? Starting with a, right? So once you know that that's read and on and yin, guess what? Any other word that reads it that way in Korean and Chinese uses that reading. So for example, hatsuon, which means pronunciation, in Korean is parum, same as in umak, which is music. And in Chinese, it's fa yin. So it's the fa. Now, let's take it a little bit further. Yin, on, right? But what about that hatsu? Hatsu in Korean becomes pal, and in Chinese it becomes fa. So now if you know other words that have hatsu in it, right? For example, shupatsu. Shupatsu is hatsu, right? But Japanese changes it to patsu. That's a different rule, but screw that for a second. In Korean, it's chulbal. It's the same bal as in parum. Now, Korean also has a slight thing where they change the P to the B depending on where it comes to the word. But it doesn't change the fact that that reading could make me know a word out of the blue as long as I know it was written in the Chinese readings, right? And Korean, I don't. Chinese, I think it's definitely something fa. That's all I know. I don't know if it's like shu fa. Alexa, how do you say departure in Chinese?
Departure in Chinese is.
Oh, it's different. It's li kai for some reason. Alexa, how do you say departure time in Chinese? Alexa, how do you say departure time in Chinese? I'm trying to get it to say something with a fa.
Departure time in Chinese is.
出发.
出发时间.
出发时间. Even 时间, shu in Japanese is ji, and in Korean it's shi. And jian, which is kan in Japanese, is oh my god. Give me a second. Shigan, it's gone. Sorry, it's gone. Anyway, I went a little bit too crazy. But knowing kanji in Chinese made my Korean and Chinese way more easier to learn. That's why I say take the dive in the Japanese first. That's it. Woo! I went too far on that. Sorry. But I get so excited about the kanji differences in those languages because I just had to learn different readings of the same. I'm already used to learning multiple readings for kanji. Now it's just like, oh, what's the Korean versions of that? What's the Chinese version? Chinese, by the way, normally only has one reading, the Chinese reading. Ron gave me 25. 25 what? What is that? $25? Well, thank you for the 25. Oh, maybe you gave me 25 RONs. Kimi, what's a RON? Okay, what's an RON? RON. Currency. Romanian. A Romanian Leo. So 25 RON. 1 RON is I'm just curious now. 0.23 times 25. $5.75. Thank you for the 25 RON. Your super chat says, thank you for explaining. I've watched your videos for years and I'm glad you're active on YouTube again. My advices are spot on. Your advices are spot on. Well, I appreciate that. When your country has not reached big enough quota of girls. Yeah, here's the thing. There might be like a bunch of cute girls in India, but I am a big fan of really beautiful, clean cities. And from what I've seen, it doesn't seem too clean. There's like too many people. Like I've seen the videos of the Indians on the train where like they're on the roof of the train. I don't think I could deal with like being on a train so filled with people. It's the same. Like there's parts of China too that are like that too, and I'm like, ugh, I can't. It's hard. But again, I'm just a stupid American. I've never been, so I don't know. I might hear like, oh my God, no, if you go to Bombay, it's amazing. But I've also heard online that women should never go to India. I've heard really bad things about India. And I think Turkey was another one. I can't remember if that's the right one, but there are some countries that are just really bad to go to for Americans or maybe for women. Don't take that. Please don't be offended that I said that. I really don't know. I'm just explaining to you why India isn't a thought for me to want to go. Okay. All right. Now to be fair, I got requested to do an entrepreneurship lecture in an Indian college online, and I did it for free. Because I love Indian people, and I did it, and they were all very respectful. They had really great questions. They were just, I'm sure some of them didn't care to hear what this fat white American man had to say, but I did it for them. They asked me if I would do something on entrepreneurship, and I did. I can't remember where it was. I have to look it up. All right. You don't need to know any of this to learn Korean, though. That's true. You don't. But there's nothing more fun than it's called laddering, where you learn one language using another language. So I used the crap out of Japanese to learn Korean, and it made me learn Korean faster, right? And the reason why I wanted to learn Vietnamese next, which I never really got into it, is because 30% of their words come from Chinese words. So I think, well, that'd be cool to like kind of make that transition. In case the kanji or hanja talk is scaring you, yeah, you don't need it. That's true, you don't. It just really helps a lot. Hey, I reached the end of the comments, guys. I think that's good enough for today. We'll end with the, where is it? A video of how hard Japanese is. A song that I wrote. It's in here somewhere. You want to stick around for it. Trust me. It's funny. It's funny. I'm going to tell you what. Where is it? Polyglot Thirst videos. Here we go. All right, here we go, guys. It's called Harder Than a Rock. See you guys later.
Learning Japanese is hard, I ain't gonna lie. It's harder than a rock learning to fly. There's hiragana and katakana, and then there's kanji. E must means I be, but Ari must means it be. I learned the kanji readings, but they're muzukashi. How can one letter be read? B and B. If this was a girl we'd fight every day. Punch me in my face and I'll just walk away. The dream is a montage, but the progress is slow. Fluency means every word I must know. My teacher has faith, he says keep going, bro. I wanna give up before my consciousness blows. He says sand makes mountain when piled up like snow. But here's the thing, teach, my limit is reached. I don't have enough sand to even imagine a beach. I'm like a Tampopo in a bit of borrow. If I don't improve, I'm gonna slash my horror. I close the book, I'm done for the day. If Japanese was straight, I'd switch to gay. Political correctness says that life's not okay, but neither is forcing me to study this way. I'm done, I'm out, but this isn't the end. It'll all change when I find a Japanese girlfriend. Yeah, well, learning Japanese is hard, I ain't gonna lie. It's harder than a rock learning to fly. There's hiragana and katakana, then there's kanji. He must means I be, but arimasu means it be. I learned the kanji readings, but they're musukashi. How can one letter be read? B and P. Folks, when you learn Japanese, just remember, it's not gonna be easy. In fact, it's gonna be hard. But like my teacher said, if you keep piling up that sand, eventually you'll have a mountain. And before you know it, you'll be speaking the Nihongo, just like I hope to be one day. Well, until then, have a good day, and yoroshiku onegaishimasu. I love Japanese girls. Yes, I do.
Damn straight I do.
I love Japanese girls. You bet I do.
Hell yes I do.
When I was 12 years old, my dad took me to Japan. My life changed a lot, and I became a man. On the airplane there, I met a beautiful girl. She was the stewardess, but she rocked my world. A perfect specimen, like a Kokeshi doll. From the era of Meiji, towering 6 feet tall. She served me well, bringing tea and chips. I wasn't really hungry, I just stared at her hips. I love Japanese girls. I know I do.
I do.
You love Japanese girls. Of course you do.
Why wouldn't you?
僕はアメリカ人と付き合ったことがない。正直付き合う気全くない。日本人と付き合ってから良さが分かったんだよ。いい匂いもするし、髪も長いし、超可愛いよ。First the stewardess, then the girl in the store. Each Japanese girl I saw made me love them more. Their meticulous motions and soft polite voices. I forgot all other girls. There were no other choices. We love Japanese girls. Yes, we do.
It's so true.
I love Japanese girls. You should too.
Now why don't you?
アメリカ人の友達、誰も分かってくれないんだよ。なんでそんなに日本の子が好きかって聞くんだよ。変な質問するんじゃねえよ。本当に信じられない。お前は日本人と付き合ったことあるのかい？お前は日本人と付き合ったことあるのかい？ We love Japanese girls. Why don't you?
Why don't you?
I love Japanese girls. Yes, I do.
Till my face is blue.
If you try hard, you will too. What do you mean, try hard? Japanese girls are awesome. You just gotta look at one, and then you're gonna want one. You love Japanese girls. Yes, you do.
We all do.
You love Japanese girls. And they love you.
Trust me, it's true.
Don't we all wish Japanese girls loved us as much as we love them? One of these days, I'll have my own Japanese girl, and everything will be right with the world.